So today something a little bit different, actually going to do a discussion video as me and my buddy Matt have kind of decided that Spider-Man is currently doing better than Star Wars.
Yeah, and we're looking forward to Spider-Man stuff a lot more than we are Star Wars things.
That is a real shame.
Yeah, it's a bit of a rocky kind of period for Star Wars at the moment. Just very mixed when, yeah, I think, I don't know if I can speak for both of us, Spider-Man is just going on the up, so...
Definitely.
Yeah, these are the notes we made. We were going to plan this to do Thursday, but we thought, we'll do it today because it's fresh in our minds. But yeah, so you can see that these are just notes that we've done for this video, and it's quite extensive for notes.
There's a lot of notes.
There's a lot of notes.
So me and Matt are both massive fans of Star Wars and Spider-Man, have been for pretty much all our lives, and so yeah, we can see that both franchises have definitely had their ups and downs. I mean, people are still talking about how bad the prequels are, special editions. Amazing Spider-Man was absolute trash.
Yeah, I can't watch that.
I'm gonna make him watch the second one day. God. He's seen bits of it. It was enough.
Yeah, I just don't want to go near it. I mean, quickly, the first one, just no. No, just from design, no. It was just horrendous. I hated it. Moving on.
Yeah. I went and saw Amazing Spider-Man 2 in the cinema. Can you imagine how disappointed I was? I thought, you know, they might have got it right. How wrong we were.
Yeah, I heard all the bad talk about it, and I was like, you know what? That just doesn't sound like I enjoy it. Enjoy it. So yeah, I just skipped it. So
I think you were wise.
Yes, but yeah, you want me to watch that? So yeah.
Just to touch you. It's funny.
Right. So we might as well get on with it. Spoiler warnings for all these things, because we're going to talk about everything. So if you haven't seen them, go out and watch them, come back, or just
don't watch Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Just don't watch that one.
Don't do that.
Just not that 1 and 2 whatsoever. I'm kind of only realising now that maybe George selling Star Wars to Disney was a bad idea.
I agree.
As much as, yeah, I mean, we're not really going to talk about the prequels. I'm sure we'll touch on it here and there, but what I say is every single prequel film has their good bits and equally has their bad bits.
Yeah. They're still Star Wars.
Yeah.
They're better for younger audiences.
Yes.
I enjoyed them more as a kid, and when I grew older I was like, nah, not as good as I remember.
Yeah, but at least it had George behind it, who made the thing. He just needed more people to tell him, let's not do that, George. Yeah, and then this one, is just completely, I think they even ignored some of his advice, apparently, from what I've heard.
Apparently he wanted to step in and give a little bit, and they just went, no,
you're not involved anymore. So yeah, I'm kind of thinking now that maybe it's probably the worst decision he's ever made is selling it to Disney, because it's not doing as great as it could be.
I mean, there are some upsides which we will get to, but most of our list is downsides, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
So
yeah, since selling to Disney, we've had 4 movies as of time of doing this recording. Episode 9 is due out at the end of this year. We currently don't know the title for that. People were thinking there was going to be a trailer drop or something recently. I don't know where that rumour came from, but nothing has dropped, so we don't know anything.
Yeah.
And
apparently it was supposed to be ending the Super Bowl, but that didn't happen. Go Pats! So, but anyway, moving on.
Weird person that enjoys football. And American football.
So
it's not even football.
Supposedly Mark did say like, a title or a trailer, and I think Disney's reaction like, what are you talking about? But
yeah, but that's Mark Hamill. You don't listen. He's the ultimate troll. You do not listen to Mark Hamill on Twitter. You don't.
So yeah,
you just don't do that.
We'll start off with it. It's going to be the main films we're going to be talking about. So we might as well go ahead with Star Wars and talk about The Force Awakens. And I know that we're quite split here. I thoroughly enjoyed Force Awakens, and I know Boss did not.
I was thoroughly disappointed.
Yes.
I mean, I didn't think I'd be so sad coming out of the cinema. I literally felt like they'd taken my heart and gone, here's your hopes and dreams, I'm just going to throw it out the window.
Yeah, I mean...
It was just... Oh, sorry. No, continue.
Well, so no, I'm gonna... You
do the good things.
Okay, so because again, we're very split. Okay, we can have discussions, we disagree, and we're still friends.
We're still best buddies!
Indeed.
Even though you like Force Awakens, which is wrong.
Let's talk about the good things. So, I really enjoyed Force Awakens. Yes, I understand why people, like Boss, didn't like it, because it did stick very close to the chest. It didn't take risks. It harpened back a lot to the originals. Same plot. Death Star again. I was annoyed about that. Again, there are flaws in it. 100%. Again, yeah, it harpens back to the originals. Death Star again. Kind of, yeah, way similar plot. Droid plans, all that stuff. But I liked the sprinkle of new characters, but the main reason why I still enjoyed it, because it added, the main reason why is because it added mystery to the future of the films. But yeah, that's going to be changed now, which again, that's the next point we're going to discuss. So I was excited when all the talk was going on between, especially the Han Solo scene with Luke's gone to the islands. Again, kind of go back, sequel hooks I didn't mind, but I know that Boss is
when
not
your
a fan.
entire movie is a sequel hook, that's when you've got a problem. It's okay to set up questions that you do intend to answer in a later film, but it falls into the massive pitfall which the prequels also fell in certain areas, which is they did a lot of tell don't show. Film is a visual medium for a reason, and when you're telling us about something that is more interesting than what we get to see, everything else just feels flat light. I know one thing we both wanted to see more of was the Knights of Ren.
Oh yeah.
Knights of Ren is mentioned a couple of times in both Force Awakens and Last Jedi, and you only get to see them in one shot in Force Awakens. I thought things were going to get interesting at that point.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, this is where we get onto, like, this is the new stuff. They've gone, okay, here's the New Hope thing just to kind of get you into it.
Yeah.
And boom, this is where Force Awakens is going to be a thing. And then I went straight back to New Hope again. I was like,
yeah.
okay, so you're doing nothing different, and you're literally relying on the fact that this is going to get a sequel by just not putting any development in whatsoever that we haven't seen done a million times.
Yeah. So again, I like the secrets, but again, at the same time, they have kind of been, ruined, I guess, is the kind of word I'm looking for. Just going to go back to the notes.
Look at the notes, make sure we missed anything.
Because again, I'm because again, this is like the stuff I like, and I think we'll pass back to you to kind of what wasn't good about it. So look at my notes. Sets up mystery, new characters. Yeah, I like the sequel hooks because it gave it some mystery and some, I guess, kind of the way like Empire Strikes Back, where you saw the Emperor, but obviously in the original he was more shrouded, and like he was. I think they like used like. They mixed animals.
Weird.
Yeah, it was like a orangutan like face, and like so.
It just looked odd.
Yeah.
It looked like someone punched him in one eye. Yeah. It had massively swelled up.
So
oh, Spider-Man!
Spider-Man, don't go!
Oh, I don't feel so good, Mr. Stark. Oh, that's okay. All right, this is post Infinity War Spider-Man.
Right. Poor guy. Let's get him back.
There we go. Mysterio next to him.
Mysterio, what are you doing? Right, okay.
The new villain.
So back to where I was. Yeah, so what I like with the secret hooks is almost I can relate that back to what the Emperor obviously in Empire Strikes Back was. People I guess then were like, ooh, who's the Emperor? And again, you're going to probably see him in the next film. Obviously there's a lot more secret hooks in Force Awakens than there is in Empire Strikes Back. But yeah, I like the sequel hooks. But I keep repeating it. I know. I do apologise. But yeah, those kind of I'm very conflicted now with what the next film brought to us, with those kind of questions that JJ set up. Who's Snoke? Rey's parents? Knights of Ren? Am I missing one? Luke
yeah,
Luke
what's happened to
Skywalker.
Luke?
those 4 questions. So yeah, Knights of Ren, Rey's parents, who's Snoke, what's Luke gone to do on this island. So again, we'll discuss that in the next point. Think of anything else bad with Force Awakens?
I would say Force Awakens is just a very safe film, and the way it was sort of, well, the thing is, it was hyped immensely. Of course it was. It's a brand new installment in the new canon. We didn't think we were going to get another Star Wars film after Revenge of the Sith. Like 2005, we thought, that's the end. We're going to get a few bits in different media, like TV shows and books and comics, but I don't think anybody thought that a big acquisition would happen and we'd actually get brand new films.
Yeah.
Thought that'd be it, because I know George Lucas was adamant that it would be over. But yeah, I remember watching one of the trailers for it, and I cried a little bit the first time I watched that. That's not the one I watched on the channel for the first time. You don't get to see me cry over Star Wars. Actually, no, you probably will do one day. But yeah, from what the trailer showed, I really thought we were going to get something. Obviously, it's going to be familiar. A lot of Star Wars takes themes from fairy tales, from stuff we already know. It's a very simple good guy, bad guy plot. But to literally take beat by beat what they've done in New Hope and just stick it, it's like reskinning, essentially. You've just taken the same plot and you've just changed the names of a few things. That's kind of how I felt it was. And it's nice to see that I'm not the only one that felt that, because after I did my review of Force Awakens, everyone told me I was an awful person, and now a lot of people agree with me. It only took you a few years to come round to my side, didn't it? Let me just get that off my chest. I got a lot of hate mail from that. Now who's got the popular opinion?
Yeah, again, I can I can understand those feelings 100%. I was so happy to see another Star Wars film, and just again, it was so long since obviously Return of the Jedi, so I was like, yes, they're kind of referencing the old films, and but maybe I was too swept up in like the film and what it was doing. But yeah, it does piss me off that it does literally do New Hope, and especially Starkiller Base at the end. That just a bit where they're destroying it really annoyed me.
They're going through the trench. They're doing the trench run.
I know.
Again,
it's the bit where it's literally Han and Kylo's confrontation. That was the really good. That was a new bit.
Good, but
that was good.
So predictable.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I mean, because you knew that Harrison Ford
was going to die.
Harrison Ford wanted to die in Empire. That's most general knowledge, and I think the whole reason why he signed up for Force Awakens was so he could die. He's like, yep, I'll do it as long as you kill me, which pretty much we got his wish. So yeah, I can understand why Boss and other people do not like it. I think it's really enjoyable just from the new bits that they sprinkle in. So yeah.
Okay, so next up we are talking about Last Jedi. Now it's safe to say that this film has essentially divided the fan base in half, and if anything was going to cause Disney some hate and some problems, it was going to be this film. But I will still always champion this film over Force Awakens, purely because it sets out to do something different, which is, you know, always something that should be championed. It might not have done it very well in certain places, but I think because of the pretty weak setup we got in Force Awakens, we probably got the best that we could get. I mean, we probably could have got better, but for certain parts, like especially the story around Luke, I don't think there was any other way you could have really done it that would have explained why he was nowhere to be seen.
Yeah, I think I'm very, very split. Probably saying, Boss, I'm split on this film. The whole going back to what I kept repeating in the Force Awakens section, the sequel hooks. Yeah, this film came along. The sequel hooks I was looking forward to pretty much destroyed it, ruined it. Snoke being Plagueis, yeah, that's gone. Luke, I was hoping Luke was going to go to that island and maybe discover the whole rumour mill that was going around at that time when Last Jedi was released, was especially kind of the line where it says it's time for the Jedi to end. There was a whole rumour mill of maybe Rey could be a grey Jedi, or Luke found that in order to get true balance they needed both light and dark side. So that was kind of what I was hoping for, speculating with friends and work colleagues. That could possibly be the reason why he's gone to the island. The first Jedi Temple, they find out that. So, but no, he just went there to die. Pissed me off so much. because from hearing from guys in our group like Captain Soane, Paul, dudes, they obviously from the generation that were brought up with the classics, so Luke was just literally a hero, like could go through anything. He saved the line that our dear Captain Soane says is Luke saved the most evil man in the galaxy, and then when his nephew betrays him, that's it, I'm out, done, I'm going to this island to die. Just like that to him, he kind of I try not to take on other people's like kind of opinions, have my own, but I couldn't ignore the fact, along with other stuff in this film, I cannot ignore that fact of, yeah, it's kind of, I can understand characters can change 100%, are not the same, because people grow, but yeah, I just feel that's just against his very just core, like he's kind of gone, yeah, I'm coming to this island to die because I've given up on everything and shut myself off. Like I didn't like that. God, that point I'm way too long. So yeah, Snoke, Luke, Knights of Ren, as we said, you don't see him, and just that was probably the most interesting sequel.
I think so.
I wanted to see Knights of Ren.
This is why I think it would have worked better if there was a lot better setup in Force Awakens, because it's now just suddenly presented to us that this is now this version of Luke. We've gone from seeing him in action in the classics, the original films, going from young farm boy to insecure, maybe a bit too hot-headed, to being what he considers to be a proper Jedi Knight and not giving up. And in between all that, you get all the times that, like he's said before, the Jedi allowed Darth Vader to rise to power. He's seen the Empire come into power. He's seen the destruction of the Empire, which he helped. He's now seen the rise of the First Order, the destruction of the Republic. How many innocent people keep dying because evil just keeps coming back and back and back, and that has got to wear him down. So he's kind of gone a little bit mad, because you think he hasn't actually had official Jedi training. He had a little bit on Dagobah with Yoda, and then he kind of went off and done his own thing. So I think if we got more showing Luke's journey up to this point, rather than just having jump to where we are now, because as you said, characters do change over time.
Yeah.
It's what's it, the Batman line? You can, what's it? You live if you live long enough to become the villain.
You either die a hero, or you either die a hero or live long enough to see yourself become the villain.
So yeah, it kind of is a little bit like that, I think. So I think if they had better setup, this changed Luke wouldn't have been such a problem among fans as it is now. Because he does still come back and save the day.
Yeah, he does save the day in the end, which is great.
He just needed a lot of convincing.
Yes, he needed a lot of convincing. No green saber. He comes out in the end. I just kind of wish that he was more of the hopeful. Probably boss just said it there. Like the journey, if I saw the journey to him progressing to that kind of almost hermit, like literally an Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
But obviously more kind of disgruntled and just like, nah, I don't want any involvement. If we saw that, then great. But yeah, I think we all just assumed, because he didn't speak a word of dialogue in Force Awakens, you see him right at the end, and it's nothing, and we think, oh, he's going to be like kind of the same.
Yeah, he's going to come back and save the day.
But yeah, I mean, it's a mix with me, because my whole thing with Last Jedi is, again, because I liked Force Awakens and I wanted to see the secret hooks. The scene I have in my head is like Rey is, when Rey hands Luke the lightsaber. Rey is JJ. The Star Wars is the lightsaber, and Rian Johnson is Luke. And yeah, JJ is passing the kind of film over to Ryan, and Ryan just going, yeah, fuck off.
I would say it's probably, if you reverse that shot, it's more accurate of JJ's kind of thrown him something and Rian Johnson's had to like catch it and figure it out, because where is Luke in Force Awakens? He doesn't do anything. He's disappeared. He's ran off. That's something that's established, even though he's ran off and left a map. Is that something that was ever explained? I'm running off, but I've left the map, so come find me. I would just want attention because I'm mad. And he doesn't even come back after the death of Han, because I remember Mark Hamill saying that the bit in the script where the lightsaber starts, shifting in the snow and it flies past Kylo, Hamill thought that was going to be him. Like, Luke's just shown up. He's like, I've just felt through the Force, you've killed Han. I ain't having this. But no, he doesn't show up. He doesn't even know what's happened. So the only explanation is that what Ryan Johnson said, he's cut himself off from the Force. Why would he have done that? That has to be a traumatic experience that leads up to that. So for Luke's character, I think that's the only way he could have really played him, because he's not going to suddenly come back as the hero after ignoring everybody for so long.
Yeah, I think it's the internal battle between me and of just the... I wanted to see this and just like, yeah, he did the best he could, because... I do like it. I don't want to say that because it sounds like I don't like it. I do like it. I do like Last Jedi. I do like Last Jedi. It has got some good bits. Like...
Where's the good point? We like it, but there is unfortunately a lot of bad stuff.
There is a lot of bad stuff. So we
puts the mystery back into the Force.
We haven't, yeah.
Because the Force became midichlorians and something that is tangible and explainable. It's like, no, the Force is mystical. This is a fairy tale. The Force is something like you just go and you can lift stuff and you can do flips, and it's just you don't need to explain the Force, and it like that place where Rey goes, where all the dark energy is. That was cool.
We could say the Act 2 scenes all brilliant. Yeah. I loved every single one, except for the tiny little bit where you hear Daisy Ridley do like a Londonish accent to Mark Hamill. She goes,
she does?
You mean we chat like... you listen to that bit.
Oh, does it slip?
It slips and you hear it. That's the only thing, because I was just like, oh God, I heard that.
Accents aren't easy.
I heard that.
I won't put that as a negative. I love Daisy Ridley.
But I love Daisy Ridley. I love Daisy Ridley as well. And I know people aren't a big old fan of Rey, or Daisy Ridley and Rey as a character in general. I think they're great. Like,
yeah, everyone's saying, oh, she's a Mary Sue because she's so good at everything. But so was Luke.
So was Luke.
Luke got an X-Wing fan's going to blow up the Death Star.
Yeah, and I would say, so was Anakin. Like,
Anakin was just, he was the prophet.
Good at everything. He was a prophet, and then you got Luke, and Yeah, so
she does fit in with the story, but...
Yeah.
So one of the main sort of story points of Last Jedi is you've got this cat and mouse chase between the First Order and the Rebellion. They're the Resistance. I'm just going to call them Rebellion because it's easier, because I'm still living in the classic era. Anyway, I really like that because I think it's just a very simple but tense kind of plot point. It's literally just keeping the story moving, and then you have all the exterior bits from that point, which is what gives sort of more into the story, like all of Rey and Luke scenes on Achto. That was great. Counterbite needs to be replaced with something else entirely.
Yes.
But as the premise of the cat and mouse chase, I think it works really well, but I know you don't actually like it.
I don't. I just think that it could have been done a whole lot, just so much better. Most people have come up with better mid kind of points for that. My one I wrote down for this video was, which I've had a few kind of other theories, but this one is probably the best one I can think of. They could have jumped from planet to planet and just kind of hide, and then they realise they've been tracked, and then they get to Crate. Just something, just not this static kind of cat. I don't know, the cat and mouse. Just no. I kind of just was hoping for so we see different locations. Maybe they forget resources from a different planet or something. Just not just. We're in space, and that's all you're getting. We're in space. Just, until they realise they've tracked us, which is good little callback to Rogue One though as well, which I did. Hyperspace tracking, which I did go, that's cool.
Good.
But yeah, I do think that chunk of the whole film could have been done just spice it up a little bit. I did except for Counterbite, that can just go away.
If Counterbite got replaced with another plot thread entirely, I think this film would have been a lot better.
Yeah. So
Counterbite was awful. I think everybody can unanimously agree Counterbite was awful. Now in terms of visual style and practical effects, that's good. Just in terms of everything else.
Yeah. Just no.
No.
Just no.
But at least Gary was in it.
Gary was in it. Yeah. Good old
Bless
Gary.
him.
Yeah.
Good old guys.
So yeah, I just think that it could have been done a lot better, but okay, yeah, fair enough.
Trying to go through some of the more positive points before we move on to the unfortunate big list of negatives.
Yes.
Because while we do both enjoy it, we do agree.
Yes.
It needs a re-edit. Yeah, and with adding mystery back into the Force, as I said, the scenes between Rey and Luke on Ahch-To, all the stuff that's on the island I thought was really good and really well done. There wasn't anything I thought that was really lacking in there. We got Yoda coming back.
Yeah, again,
That's
I
always a good thing.
love that Yoda scene because it's more wisdom. I know people would complain like, it should have been Anakin Skywalker. Well, Luke didn't train Anakin.
No, Yoda
it was Yoda.
Luke's master.
So even, like, he's got more wisdom to give to Luke. Like, that whole line of, you are... God, now I can't even remember what he says. What Yoda
like,
says.
it's a case of like learn from your mistakes, pass on your mistakes. You
And
don't
your
have to be
failures.
perfect.
Yeah.
Pass on your failures. That's it.
Failure. What is it? The most important teacher failure is.
Yes.
Or something along those. I know it's probably not.
We haven't watched it that much.
Yeah, no. But again, yeah, failure is the most important teacher. Which again, I love Yoda, and just more wisdom from Yoda. So that was big plus.
Obviously, one thing I also really like about Last Jedi, Porgs. Not only are they adorable, even though everyone goes, oh my god, they're only here to sell merchandise, which, let's face it, most of Star Wars sells merchandise.
Yes.
Why would you have a problem with something else that is actually cool and people like? Pog, his name is Piggle, he is awesome. And, but it actually came about through a little bit of creativity. For anyone who doesn't know, the island that they were filming on, island off the coast of Iceland, I think it is, has a protected population of puffins. So all these puffins would be in the background of these scenes, and they can't kick them off set because it's a protected species. At least I think for over there. I don't know if it is, but hey, I'm not part of Wildlife Watch.
They were protected, definitely.
They are protected species.
They said they were protected. Yeah.
So instead of having to try and digitally remove every single one of them, they thought, well, why not? Let's expand upon this. Let's give them little CG costumes and make them into characters. And then they expanded upon that, and Porgs were the good little bit of comic relief. What should have remained as the main bit of comic relief was these creatures, because can I just say the tone of this film is all over the goddamn place.
Yes, it is.
If it kept the same tone that it had on the island, like a little bit of humour here and there, but it, it's still consistent.
Still,
not putting bad jokes in at every 5 minutes.
Especially that opening. But again, this is the good points. We can skim over that in the back.
Yeah, so we'll get back to that in a minute. We're trying to stay positive. It's hard because the positives are very interlinked.
Yes.
With the negatives, but hey, Pogs, a good little bit of creativity from the filmmakers there to create a character that is awesome.
Yes.
Speaking of also characters, I found myself liking Kylo a lot more in this film. And no, it's not because he took his shirt off, how dare you. It's just they actually gave him more of a character. They didn't just make him like, this is our version of Darth Vader. But a bit more like a grumpy teen. We've actually given him a little bit more of a base to go off of. So, I definitely liked it.
Yeah, he's Big Boss now, which I like. It's not shadowing Emperor Vader, which... Again, I'm split. Part of me kind of wanted that, but I do like how, he's Big Boss now. He's basically killed off Snoke and he is the leader. Yeah. Which we'd never seen before. And he kind of...
In the expanded universe, yes, the apprentice kills the master, but not really done in a film.
No.
Well, Vader with throwing the Emperor, but that was like literally right at the end of the last film.
And to save Luke. So
and to save his son.
Not to get absolute power, which pretty much Kylo has... Did want. And he wants to kind of... get stuff done. So I really like that.
But then that just ruined your whole lovely sequel hook of Snoke just gets no more explanation, whereas obviously Emperor gets more explanation the further on in the film he goes. Snoke just appears in the flesh as opposed to a hologram, and then Kylo cuts him in half.
Yeah.
That's it. I mean, we get a bit more of Snoke's power, which is with another bad joke at the beginning of the film where he throws Hux into the floor, and the way it's done just looks terrible.
Yeah.
Just looks hokey.
Again, I'm very split. Again, I wanted to get Hux, didn't get them, but again, that's probably the fanboy me going, I didn't do it the way I wanted to. But I like Kylo being the big boss now, and obviously, yes, at the same time though, Snoke not being Plagueis did annoy me, because that would have been a nice link back to the prequels.
It would have been a good link, but then I guess not everything has to be linked back to it. Could have been his own thing, but it's expanded more upon, but they didn't really. But I don't mind him. For me, I see Snoke as his character is only there as the stepping stone for Kylo, that's it.
Yeah. So, like it is the strong overall feeling through that is, yeah, I do like what they've done with Kylo, definitely.
And the fight that was in the throne room was actually really good. That's probably the best part of that film.
Best part of the film, definitely.
But has a mistake that really annoys you, doesn't it?
Yes. Again, Captain Zone, and he again. Most people in our group do try to like the film as well, but it's just kind of their kind of thing is lazy writing. Is like kind of one of the points, and yeah, that throne room site, one of the knives magically disappears, which I didn't notice until someone said it, and it's like, ooh, I love that scene still, but it's kind of like, yeah.
Thing is, you do wonder if they'd done a George Lucas and put 2 takes together.
Yeah.
Whereas like one is a different version of choreography, because that fight could have been longer.
Could have been.
And they could have cut around it, and there's probably an explanation for it. But unfortunately, I didn't notice it the first couple of times I watched it until it was pointed out.
Until someone pointed it out.
But the trouble is, now you've seen it, you can't unsee it.
Yeah, which
it's a problem.
Kind of, yeah. I like it, but yeah, I can't deny. Yeah, they messed up that scene. Probably one of the best scenes in the film.
Yeah. Shame.
So yeah, I think that's a nice transition back to the negative points. Unless have we got anything else good to say about Last Jedi? We like Kylo, we like Rey, and
soundtrack was nice. Soundtrack is always lovely. If there's one thing Star Wars fans can agree on, no matter what the film is, the soundtrack is great.
Yeah.
Especially if it's John Williams. Yeah. I know people go, because of the spin-off soundtracks, just because it's not John Williams, but they're still good.
Yeah, and we didn't mention at all in the we can both say that for Force Awakens as well. I didn't think I'd hum a tune like Imperial March again, but the first order thing and the Resistance theme and Rey's theme, they're all just
they're very good.
It's John Williams.
They're very good.
It's John Williams. He knows how to do character themes. And I think, I believe, I can't remember off the top of my head who said it, but they think, they said that once you have a theme you can hum, that's it, you've got it.
Yeah.
So, I forget who kind of mentioned that.
I don't know, but that's a good thing.
I think it was a director of some, I want to say it was Steven Spielberg, but I don't think it was. But yeah, he said, once you kind of, the composer knew he had him hooked as soon as he was humming the theme. So yeah, I'm pretty much saying, we're First Order, Rey, and Resistance. So yeah, music is a big old plus. Another
character that I think is kind of a split sort of opinion-wise is a DJ. I don't really like him that much. It just, again, he feels a little bit like inconsequential, even though he is like part of the reason, well, the main reason why the Resistance gets caught at the end. I do think because he's part of the whole Canto Bight plot line, and he's just, I just don't think I like him from that, to be honest.
Yeah, I do like him a bit, but mainly for the reason why he does betray them at the end, because that's pretty much, that fit his character. I think if he came over and helped them 100%, it would be like, that doesn't seem like, when he's first introduced, he's like a slimy kind of, get out of all the kind of oily kind of, what is it, snake oil salesman. Yes, the one. He wriggles himself out of situations. Yeah, I kind of liked how he did portray Finn and Rey to kind of, not Finn and Rey, Finn and Rose to save his own skin. I did like that. So, but that's kind of, he's involved with Canto Bight and just...
Yeah, the whole Canto Bight scene just needs to go away.
Again, the fanboy in me wished it was, most people have said it was Lando, but they'd have to rewrite the whole thing.
It would have... That might be good if they rewrote the whole damn thing.
Yeah. But apparently he's coming back, he is confirmed he's coming back for episode 9, so...
Oh, cool, I didn't know that actually.
I think so.
Oh, fabulous. Lando.
We can look this up after he's edited, but I'm pretty sure, yes, he has been confirmed, Billy D. Williams.
Cool.
So
can't beat a bit of Billy D. Okay, in the interest of time, we're going to rattle off a few more unfortunate negatives, and a few of them are character based. And again, my big one is Captain Phasma. Massively
wasted.
Very wasted. She was over-marketed to hell. She was. I have a magazine somewhere. I probably won't be able to find it now. I might have thrown it out of frustration. Where it says Captain Phasma is the new Boba Fett. Now I remember Boba Fett being quite an important plot point in Empire Strikes Back. Of he tells Vader to go to Cloud City. He's the reason why all the bad stuff in Empire happens. Boba Fett actually did something.
He did.
Phasma has not done anything.
just no justice for
No.
just no justice for a character, which is just
Yeah.
and she,
What hurts the most? What hurts the most? There is a deleted scene available on the Blu-ray, and you can probably watch it online,
God,
of an alternate death scene for Phasma.
it's so much better.
It is way better than what we got.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
It actually expands a little bit upon what she's previously done and the kind of person she is.
Yeah.
Force Awakens, the only thing we saw her do was lower the shields down so
That's
the
it.
rebels can blow up Starkiller Base.
That's it. And
Yeah,
you
no,
think and
she's supposed to be a big, tough
yeah,
stormtrooper boss.
she's the
Like me.
yeah,
Not like me.
just big and shiny and awesome. And I remember seeing an article as well saying that she was going to get her moment in Last Jedi.
Yeah, she came out of the
Didn't.
fog.
They
No,
showed-
she didn't come out of the fog. No, that was me thinking of the trailer shot. Sorry.
Oh, she surprises.
She's in the hangar. She
yeah.
just comes out of the hangar like, "Hi, I'm still alive, by
Welcome
the way."
back, FN2187. Welcome back.
Welcome
We've
back.
missed you, or whatever. That's probably Mix of Agent Smith in
And
that
then-
quote. But yeah, and
She
then
just falls into a pit and dies.
she has a bit of a scrap with Finn, and then gets bonked over the head with the shock axe, shock baton, whatever you want to call it, and then you always scum, rebel scum. Ugh.
There's a reason why they cut that line out of
Yeah.
Jedi, because it's a bit.
Yeah,
It's a
So-
scum. No,
just
Han says it. It doesn't work.
yeah, just she didn't. Her character wasn't done justice when I thought, yeah, she'd be awesome and come back with just all guns blazing, but no, she's
At
wasted.
least, at least give us that alternate death scene.
Wasted, and yeah, didn't even use the best
I
death
know.
scene. If it is a death scene, she might come back. Who
How
knows,
I don't know
but-
how she managed to come back from what's essentially a planet imploding.
Yes,
Maybe she can come back from the ship having hyperspace gone through it.
yeah,
I
but
don't know, but
but
if they do, it feels like yet just a
Desperate,
cop out, just
yeah.
a massive cop out, just
And
to kill her off.
and the funny thing as well is in that better death scene, she gets her hand cut off as well, which is
Yeah,
like so
does
she could
anyone
go.
get their hand cut off in this film? Because it happens in. No, that happens in every Marvel film or something like that.
I mean, you could say
I'm
that,
getting
yeah,
confused
in
now.
the second, I think it, you're right, in the second phase of, just a side trivia note, I think it's on the second phase of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, yeah, every single one character in every single Marvel film gets a hand cut off.
And it's a tribute to Star Wars.
Star Wars, yeah.
So that would have fit perfectly, but it's the kind of like when all the stormtroopers next to her that are fighting with her, it was like Finn goes, "We know the truth, me and you, Phasma. You're the one who shut down the shields for Starkiller Base. If it wasn't for you, we wouldn't have won that day." And the stormtroopers next to her are like,
They question. You can see that. Yeah, they kind of look at
"What?
each other.
Did
yeah.
she?" And she
And
was,
she kills him.
yeah,
Yeah.
who would believe a story like that? And as soon as she noticed the stormtroopers are wavering a little bit, she murders them all.
Yeah.
And then they have another little fight, and
Yeah.
then she gets shot with a massive cannon and
Yeah.
disappears into the flames. So that is a little bit more credence that she could have escaped in time because she's still in the hangar rather than falling through the floor into a bottomless pit.
Yeah. So
I was saying quick points, but then I got mad
yes.
because Phasma was on my
It's
list.
supposed to be
of cosplays.
quick. Yeah, it's supposed to be quick.
Sorry, I got
that's alright, it's fine.
emotional.
But yes, but yeah. So Phasma, yeah, disappointment.
By the way, Hux is also terrible.
Yes, he is.
Oh my god, I've never seen so much overacting in my life.
Joke. He's a bloody
He's
joke.
a big old joke.
Big
How are
old
we
joke.
supposed to take the First Order seriously when someone like that is in charge?
And he kind of was he was better in Force Awakens as character because he's trying to be. I know he's trying to be all serious, rah, but this one he is literally a joke. The first scene with him and Poe, those are that is like the worst jokey bit thing. Can you hit? No.
I'd just be like, just fire on that X-Wing. Just fire. Old Galactic Empire would have just been like, just blow that ship up, please.
Yeah,
Thank
I mean,
you.
even the
We'd probably miss, but we'd try.
the guy on the second ship said, "Yeah, we should have fired him then bloody 10 minutes ago," or whatever his line is. Like,
Yeah.
so just
Why is Hux in charge? He's terrible.
comedy is just so just
Oh, it's all over the place.
goodish, bad, good, bad, good, bad, good, bad. It's just tone and comedy. It's just all over the place. And Hux is one of the main bad things about it.
I feel we're going to have to talk about this, because I know a lot of people do bring it up. But how they treated Princess Leia, considering it is a very difficult situation with Carrie Fisher having passed away, it was just before the film was released.
Yeah.
She only passed away a couple of weeks, I think, before the film came out. And with that, I kind of expected to have her end in this film, and when the bridge gets destroyed and we see her get sucked down to space, I thought that was her swan song.
Same.
And then she Mary Poppins herself across space. She literally Supermans. But people then going, because I remember saying that in my video, it's like, oh no, she's not flying. She force pulled herself. Like, obviously, yes, she's pulling herself with the force, but with her literal pose being like that, it looks very bad. And for her to, I know the force is mysterious. We've put mystery back into the force, but has anybody else been able to survive in space like that? Is that a thing the force can do? Can you survive out in a complete vacuum? Pull yourself back into the ship? How do they get her back in through the doors without being sucked out of the vacuum? Because that hole was gone. Unless the shield came back. Yeah, Star Wars shields.
Yeah, I mean, expanding universe definitely would have explained it. We haven't had anything in the films to say, hey look, you can survive in space briefly if you're really powerful with the force. So force bubble, people would argue, force field, whatever. But my thing is, that could be done a whole lot more subtly, which the scene I got in my head, it's on the bridge, smoke is all around, it clears, then you see Carrie still on the bridge, like literally
just holding
the doors here, like the doors, like she's like here, the doors, they're like right there, she moves a couple feet, whatever, and then the door opens. That scene, force pull scene, that could have been done so much more subtler. And I think people would be happy and not this, I'm Mary Poppins, y'all.
I'm Mary Poppins, y'all.
Superman, Leia, Super Carrie. So
yeah, I mean, as much as if they didn't have that and they just had Carrie just carry on and maybe somebody else, like the bridge blew up, Leia wasn't on there, because obviously I didn't want her to go, because I think she should have a definitely more poignant death, because she is a badass, and obviously as a tribute to Carrie herself, being one of the, like, Han Solo had a great death.
Yeah.
Luke's death was also quite, a big thing.
Yeah.
And then if that was Carrie's death, just her getting blown up, I think that would have been a bit. I think that would have been a bit.
Yes.
Ugh.
Yes.
But again, would it have been better to just leave it like that and then you're clear for the next one? Because I'm very interested to see how they do her in the next film, because apparently it's a lot of B-roll footage.
It is.
From Force Awakens and Last Jedi.
Yes.
That they're going to use.
Yes.
So it's pre-recorded footage that they have to try and work in that. So it's going to be very interesting to see how they do it, and if they're going to kill her off or if she's just going to end up being a background character because they can't do much else with her.
Yeah. Very
difficult situation with Carrie Fisher passing away, but Super Carrie could have been done a lot better.
Yeah. Yeah, and just the whole thing on Carrie as well, a few guys from the group have also kind of gave the good idea of, as much as it is painful, recast. Like, gets a popular actor, which again I'm kind of half and half on.
I don't think you should.
No,
I don't think you should.
I agree with it and I disagree with it. Like what, like they said, get a popular actor, like I think they said like Meryl Streep, for example, and just come straight out saying, look, I'm not going to do a Carrie Fisher impersonation. This is my interpretation. I know I'm not Carrie. And just put that out there, like I know this is difficult, but I'm going to do what I can for the character of Leia.
Like, if the story, like, all 3 stories for each film were, like, all written out in advance so everything sort of worked together, because I think this is the problem. Each film is being written separately by separate people, which is why we're getting such differences between tones and stuff in film. So if the plot was all done in one go, and then Carrie's passed away and there is no physical way what we've got left of the B-roll of Carrie can continue this plot on in the way that would make sense or fit, I think at that point that you do bring in another actress to go, right, this is what we're doing. This isn't trying to, be disrespectful to Carrie in any way. This is literally just to honour her and give her character the send-off that it deserves, even if it's not her playing it. But in this case, it's not, because the plot of the film, let's face it, is all a little bit like that at the moment. So in this situation, I don't think they should recast. They should just let Carrie be able to finish her film.
Yeah. I think that's all the bad stuff clear out the way. This is, I guess, more the neutral ground now. Yeah. So the one story hook that I mentioned, which still kind of seems to be intact and they can go forward with still, and that is Rey's mystery. Didn't reveal her origins. even though apparently in the novelization of The Last Jedi, she apparently is a manifestation of the Force.
But if that's a thing that's just been left in a novelisation or in the film, that is a massive piece of information.
Yes.
That most viewers are not going to know.
Yes.
So that is something. I'm not reading the whole novelisation of Last Jedi to find that out.
No, I'm not. So again, that's just a side note pinned onto that. So Rey is still a mystery. Side note. So that's good. Kind of if we find out if her parents are significant or something, but as one of my work colleagues kind of said, doesn't have to be related to anyone.
You don't. Like, you can be your own character. Yoda, it's entirely possible.
Yeah, Yoda, Obi-Wan weren't related to the Skywalkers, or just Yoda's a prime example. Yoda was related to no one. He was the most powerful Jedi, so her parents could literally be nobodies.
She's Yoda's daughter.
Yeah.
Hashtag headcanon. Hashtag fact.
Yeah. So. Yeah, it could be. She could be a nobody, but again, the question, yeah, but the more kind of, yeah, I guess so. Maybe I'm kind of flip flopping here. There could be some significant mystery. There could not be. We'll see. But if there's no one, then I'm happy with that.
The fact that they're building it up so much, I think there probably is going to be.
So again, the Force Awakens put that crumb in there. Last Jedi is kind of carrying it on a little bit, and then let's see what episode 9 brings us.
Yeah, hopefully she really isn't a manifestation of the Force. Because we've had that with Anakin, and it is now been confirmed in the new Darth Vader comics that Anakin was created by Sidious. Not by, but by influencing the Midichlorians to create life, which is the whole thing about Darth Plagueis, and who was Sidious's master and all that. So, in that case, who the hell created her? Because Plagueis is dead, and Sidious is dead. Did Snoke create her? If so, why are we recycling this plot line again?
Yeah, unless they do the whole thing of, well, Sidious created Anakin, so there needs to be a light side thing that creates Rey. To bring balance or something along those lines. But again, yeah, point is, Rey might still be a mystery. Which is kind of, alright.
And the final point about Last Jedi, yes, we're actually getting to a final point now. Last Jedi, this is mainly about the fandom and the stupidity of some people in the fandom.
Very specific.
Yes, if this offends you, then it might apply to you. If not, then you're cool. We're cool. But because Last Jedi literally split the fan base in half, and there are some people that hate it, this caused people to boycott Solo, which is the latest Star Wars spin-off that got released, done by a completely different director, completely different team, different plot. It's nowhere near Last Jedi. It's its own thing. But because people didn't like Last Jedi, they boycotted a completely different film set in the same universe. That is really dumb. And I've seen online people going, I finally got round to watching Solo, but I boycotted it because I didn't want to watch it after Last Jedi. I was surprised it's actually quite good.
It's a good film.
Well, of course it is. It's been made. It's been made by Ron Howard, who directed it. Yes, it did have production problems, but so did Rogue One, and I think most people love Rogue One. So I think it's really, really dumb to judge a completely different film, even if it is set in the same universe and the same franchise, by Last Jedi. How very dare you?
There's nothing wrong. We're going to talk about the spin-offs more, but there's nothing wrong with Solo.
No.
Can I just quickly say there is no issues. I don't know why most people did go, because Last Jedi, let's boycott it, so let's do crap at the box office.
If you're going to boycott anything, boycott episode 9, boycott the main films.
Yeah, it's
because that is connected.
Yeah, so, yeah, I think that's our last point, Last Jedi. We'll talk about that spin-offs and why Solo, and obviously Rogue One being the top tier, but why there's literally we have no issues with those.
No.
So yeah, but we'll talk about that more. So yeah, I think that's the last point of why boycotts. It's a film. It's a film. At the end of the day, okay.
It's a film.
We say that, and we have everything Star Wars, costumes and all. It's just a film, guys. Okay. Cool. Right. Spooder.
Moving on, we're going to be talking about some of the main films being released in the current Spider-Man universe. It is no secret, Sam Raimi films are, they are my favourite Spider-Man films. Apart from Spider-Man 3, we tend not to talk about that one, but Spider-Man 3's bad qualities, yes, unfortunately were the product of Sony interference. This is what happens when the money starts talking and starts pushing out creative ideas and literally means the director cannot make the film they want to make. That's when we start getting problems. But since then we've had a reboot, as I said, about The Amazing Spider-Man. Also, problems, Sony. Also, I don't think the director was very good on that. I'm pretty sure they only hired him because his surname was Webb, because that's a joke. Punny. And, yeah, so we've already talked about that being absolute just trash. And now we've been rebooted again. At this point, Sony is the one who owns the movie rights to Spider-Man. Back in the day, Marvel struggled with money, and so they actually sold off their movie rights to different companies. Marvel owns most of their rights still, but Sony owns Spider-Man, and like 20th Century Fox, they own Deadpool and X-Men, which is why you don't see them sort of mixing with the other characters, and why Spider-Man is only now just becoming part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, as Sony has struck a deal with Marvel, and they've been able to put him in. So we have got 3 instances of Spider-Man being in the Cinematic Universe. His first appearance just in the big fight scene in Civil War, and we get sort of a little bit more into the introduction of his character, but it's not an origin story, it's just a short little section. And then we get to what we're going to be talking about, which is his first solo film in the MCU, which is Homecoming.
Yes, and I just want to say, I just wanted you to finish. We rewatched Raimi, first Raimi film, Spider-Man, and it is brilliant. I forgot how good it was. It's supposed to be cheesy, okay? Moving on.
Yeah, if you accept that it's cheesy and just go into it knowing this is a silly comic book film, it's so enjoyable. Yeah,
Spider-Man Homecoming. The note we got here pretty much says it. It's simple, but it's solid.
That's all you need.
Yeah, moving on.
That's all you need. Yeah, it doesn't do what Force Awakens does, and with a new iteration, it doesn't directly take from another film. It can have inspiration, obviously, but it, like going back to the first Amazing Spider-Man, the plot that surrounded the villain was literally copy-paste from the first Raimi film, and also the lizard was terrible in that.
The design was so
design
bad.
perspective was awful.
Oh, so
Not
bad.
so much the actor. I think he did an okay job.
Yeah, but the design of the lizard was crap. The 90s cartoon lizard still is awesome. Why don't they do something like that?
Still is the best.
Brr.
But, so yeah, so what it is, it's just basically simple. It's, Marvel has found their formula by now, which is why, like, none of the Marvel films at the moment, I would say, are something spectacular. Maybe apart from Infinity War, just because it's a big old crossover, and I think everyone was expecting it not to do so great because of that. But again, I wouldn't say it was hugely the most amazing thing I've ever seen, but it was good.
It was awesome.
So they found what works for them, and so they have that template they use.
A good format.
Again, it's a good format. It's simple, as I said, doesn't copy. It's modernised everything as well. It hasn't. I know with Star Wars you can't say that because it is a fairy tale. Everything. Even in the Old Republic, everything still stays the same over thousands and thousands of years. But I think with it being a comic book character, you've got more freedom. So they've just gone, right, we're going to take ideas from this, and we're just going to change it so it fits more into this.
And first inclusion of Vulture, which is awesome, because I didn't think I would want to see Vulture on the big screen.
I didn't think I would either.
And as soon as I said Michael Keaton's going to be in the Spider-Man film, I was like, oh yes, I love Michael Keaton. He's my favourite Batman, Chris Whitley. Going to a different universe quickly. But yeah, as soon as I said, oh, he's Vulture's in me, I was like, oh, okay. Because again, when I imagine Vulture, it's obviously bald guy.
Bald guy
in a massive
in a
green costume.
In a skin-tight suit with a ruff.
Yeah.
With wings. He's just a big green blob that flies through the sky, and he's old and really cranky.
Yeah, so I didn't think I would want Vulture, but yeah, it was awesome. He was brilliant. And the best thing about, which is so good, is the villain is utilising stuff that's in the universe. So
yeah, they link it. They link it back, but they don't. They don't go like completely overboard, like making it this is your fundamental part. It just it happens to be you cleaning up the Chitauri, and I've got this new tech, and now I've become a supervillain.
And it's awesome because
it's a good way to do it.
Just mixing, you're taking stuff from that's already been established in the universe, and that's just so good.
That's how you do it.
So good.
You don't take whole plots. You take little bits.
Yes.
That's how it works, Disney.
Just little bits.
Sorry, I'm still Force Awakens still hurts.
But we didn't even mention that. We should have mentioned that right at the start. I just don't understand how Disney is doing just not great with Star Wars, but so good with Marvel.
I give Trump a different. Oh! You've made him so sad. Oh, it's okay. We're talking good things about you.
Good things about you.
He refuses to accept it. Maybe he's shy. But I think it's because, well, Disney is the money, and you've got two different teams making it, two different productions.
I just don't get it.
This is why Mandalorian is going to work, because it's Jon Favreau. That's
yes. Yes, I think we'll mention that.
We're going to mention that later.
Mention that, but yeah, so spin-off section. Yeah, Vulture inclusion and brilliant, and obviously we had Shocker as well, didn't we?
We did.
Yeah.
But Shocker's in pretty much everything. Watching Mediocre Spider-Man, where his joke is every time he sees Shocker, he just shouts, "Shocker!" He's like, because Shocker's in every Spider-Man game. I didn't realise Shocker is in pretty much every Spider-Man game.
Alright.
I love him. He's my third favourite Spider-Man villain. I don't think anybody else really loves him.
Yeah,
we got a little bit of him.
He's
more of an introduction, just a background character, but it was just nice to have him there. And again, he's been included in a way that actually kind of fits in with the world.
Yeah, and as mentioned, what we saw in Civil War, and especially in Homecoming, they didn't go back to it. There's no origin story, which is, I think that's a good plus. We don't need to see...
I don't need to see Uncle Ben die again. I've seen it so many times now.
It's heartbreaking, and again, we know that Peter's gone through the little speech he has in Civil War where he says to Tony Stark, when you have the powers that I've got and the bad stuff happens and know that you could do something about it, that's not exactly the speech, but he basically says that to Tony Stark.
Because of you.
Yeah, basically. So, and yeah, no, not showing the origin story in Homecoming either, big plus, because again, we know
who doesn't know the origin story of Spider-Man by now, even if you're not a fan? You just know it by osmosis through popular culture.
But I know people were kind of commenting on that, saying, we're going to see it, but again, we've seen it, but that's a plus.
Now we've also got a new Spider-Man. Tom Holland has taken over the role, and I think he's probably one of the best Spider-Mans we've got to date, because he's a good Peter Parker and a good Spider-Man, where I know as a lot of people thought Tobey Maguire was better as a Peter Parker, not so good as a Spider-Man. Andrew Garfield was terrible as a Peter Parker, but better as a Spider-Man. Now, we seem to have a good middle ground, and also he's part of the Holland clan, so I could legit be related to Spider-Man, which makes me very happy.
He is my favourite as well. I know Boss's is Raimi.
Toby will always be my favourite though.
But I did watch a video recently explaining why Tobey Maguire is the best Spider-Man, which I did like, but again, Tom Holland is my favourite, because it's a different Spider-Man. He's younger Spider-Man, which you haven't seen on the screen. He's in high school, and you were gonna get a chance to see him develop, which is probably one of the best points, because he's gonna obviously just grow as a character. So, and good quips, and great Peter as well. So, I can't really see any...
If you know the character of Spider-Man, you know that Homecoming is probably the closest we've got to getting a good version of both of them in one actor. And
another good thing about it, Homecoming, which we haven't seen, is new characters. So we get Ned, it's kind of like the sidekick.
Guy in the chair.
The guy in the chair. Yeah, the guy in the chair. Which is unique as well, because we haven't seen that in a Spidey film, so it's nice.
Peter Parker has friends.
Yeah.
This doesn't happen normally in the comics.
So, and I kind of love the character Ned as well, because he definitely is the main comic relief.
He's good as comic relief. He works.
The film, and it seems that's going to be the case again from Far From Home. There's no just any other side villains as well. Like I say, we got a bit of Shocker, which is cool. So
we got a different portrayal of Mary Jane as well.
Yeah,
Mary Jane is no longer the girl next door.
No.
She is a bit of a sort of an outcasty girl in school.
Yeah, and I was kind of really happy to find out that that was Mary Jane at the end of the film, because just completely different take on the character.
Yeah.
So young Aunt May. Obviously, that is the the main.
I like how both of us hesitate when we watched the trailer, and we saw Aunt May. Both of us hesitated for a moment, like, who's that? And then we remembered Aunt May is now like what, 40?
Yeah, she's young.
We're so used to the old lady Aunt May. Both of us genuinely went, hang on a second. Oh yeah, that's Aunt May.
I said it was Mary Jane when we were doing the Far From Home reaction trailer.
Wow, Mary Jane got old quick.
Yeah, and it was like, oh god, no, it's Aunt May. Of course it's Aunt May. And most of the humour obviously is the hot Aunt May jokes, of course. So but it works. It's a new thing.
Yeah, it works better with Parker being younger.
Yeah,
it makes more sense.
Yeah, definitely. You get the humour, obviously. A little bit in Civil War, and then obviously in Homecoming. So, and then obviously at the end of the film, she knows that Peter's Spider-Man.
Yeah,
so it's that
with the cut off F-bomb. That's pretty good.
Yeah, with you cut off. Yeah.
What the?
Yeah, so that's another good something new as well.
Exactly.
So yeah, I mean, just Homecoming is literally that.
It's just a solid Spider-Man film.
Solid.
Might not necessarily be people's favourites.
No.
But it's a solid film. That's how you reboot the character, basically.
I mean, yeah, great comedy moments in the film. Just
bad CGI suit, though.
Yeah.
Can we just point that out?
Okay, yeah. I didn't like the CG. I mean, when I heard that some bits were CG,
yeah, you didn't know that there was a suit on set.
No.
Because the suit, I remember I showed you a picture of the suit Tom Holland wore on set for Civil War, which is, it had lots of raised webbing and a raised impulse spider, and it had tracking dots on it for CG, because you thought he was just in, just, you know, what they wear, it's essentially like grey and black pyjamas, and then they put the suit on over the top, but they CGI'd over a full suit, but the CGI just doesn't quite work. Because what they've done with the suit is they've not made it look like a suit. They've made it look like they've painted it onto his skin. So it just doesn't look natural. I know they kind of did that a little bit with the Raimi one where they didn't want to show wrinkles in the suit. But for the majority of the film, that suit was practical. It was only CG in certain shots where the whole shot was CG. They never CG'd over the top of Tobey Maguire. That just didn't happen.
Yeah, so yeah, I was surprised about that because I do... anything in films, anything practical, it immediately gets a plus for me because practical effects for the win. So yeah, I was like, oh really? It's a CG. Obviously in Infinity War, which we'll talk about more, that's more CG. But yeah, I was a bit like, oh okay, like it's not a practical suit, which I kind of wish it was.
Yeah, even though some people may say, you know, the way it fits on Spider-Man is because it's Stark tech. And I know some people aren't very happy about Tony Stark being the one that makes Spider-Man's suit. Because that was kind of the whole idea of bringing Peter Parker's genius in to bring Spider-Man is he creates his web shooters, he makes his web fluid, he makes all his own gadgets. Whereas in this one, Parker makes his own web fluid.
Yeah, he makes his
and obviously he originally made his web shooters.
Yeah.
But all the new stuff, the stuff that he uses now, none of it is his, it's all Stark's.
Yeah, which... Again, I never thought about that really, so I'm not one of those people that are annoyed about that because I didn't really think about it really. I thought, hey, cool, it's just a way to involve him more in the universe.
Yeah, I think they did it just so it's, you know, this is our Spider-Man and he is now in the MCU.
Yeah.
Obviously, I know why they've done it, but I know it's a sore point for people. So I'd like to know what people think about that. If you think, you know, do you like the Stark suit? And you're like me, do you hate the fact that it's all CG as well?
Yeah, that's kind of sucky. But with Tony Stark as well, I do think obviously he is definitely like the mentor. That he's, I guess, the closest thing we're gonna get to Uncle Ben.
Yeah.
So depending what happens to him in later films, obviously that's more just character development.
I have a feeling he's gonna die.
Yeah, I think it's, and Cat. Oh God, Endgame. I'm not looking forward to that.
No, it's going to be depressing, but I think it's going to be a good movie.
It's going to be brilliant.
Good movie, but it's going to make
you're going to suffer.
Oh, Infinity War made you suffer. This one will make you suffer even more.
Yeah. So, yeah. So, back to that point. I'm not too fussed about Tony Stark supplying Spidey his stuff. It's just okay. Yeah, I was like, oh, okay. People are annoyed about that, which is fair. Again, I can understand why. So, yeah.
Again, it was our favourite point in Last Jedi, wasn't it?
Yeah, fight scenes.
Cool fight scenes.
Cool fight scenes. Yeah. With Vulture. The bank heist, again, you get your quips, and you get some cool Spidey action. The shocker fight's cool. And obviously that one bit where you get the true kind of, which is involved in the end, I think it's the aftermath of the fight, where, with Vulture, cuts down the pillars. Obviously, Peter's trapped, and he calls for help, and then that literally is what Tony Stark says in the film.
Feel nothing without this suit.
Yeah, you don't.
He's in his old homemade suit by this point because Stark's taking it away.
Yeah,
he's just essentially been crushed by a building.
Yeah,
and it harkens back to an old comic book where I think Aunt May's in trouble, but Spider-Man is literally trapped under this building. He's like, water is leaking on his head, and he has to really force himself to get that off him. And again, they do that in the film. He sees his reflection and is like, come on Spider-Man, I am Spider-Man, I can do this. And that was just a really nice little scene to have. Yeah,
it was really good. More character building, obviously, just after a cool fight scene, that mini little kind of fight scene where Vulture gets his new rig. So, like, just
It's just a cool film. It's a great film.
I'm not a girl.
Oh, also on the airplane as well. That fight on the outside of the plane.
Yeah, that's the plane's also. It's just yeah, no issues.
Yeah,
whatsoever.
I don't know. It's just a solid. It's just a solid fun film.
Yeah. I mean, to be really picky, I mean, I can't think of anything off the top of my head, really. Can you think of anything?
Not off the top of my head. No,
not off the top of my head. No.
I'm sure people will be able to point some out.
I'm sure. Yeah.
So if you do, please let us know.
It's not Dungeon. It's not perfect.
Oh, it's not perfect.
I'm happy. Fun. I'm happy.
It's better than Force Awakens. That's the point I'm trying to make right now.
Yeah, Star Wars again. It kind of makes us connect. Going back to that connection, it's definitely more. I was more excited at this time for Infinity War, which obviously is the next thing we'll talk about. I was at this point after seeing Homecoming. Yeah, I was like, oh, I cannot wait for Infinity War because obviously you're going to see more Spidey. So yeah, and with last. Well, I guess I did think about that personally. I thought about that after seeing Force Awakens. I can't wait for Last Jedi, and then maybe you're the opposite camp of I can't believe what they just did, and then like what's Last Jedi going to do?
I hope Last Jedi fixes it.
Yeah, so
whoops,
opposites, but yeah, Infinity War.
Yeah. Also, I'd just like to take this point in the video to apologise for my voice constantly getting worse. Someone at work has given me the illness, so unfortunately you're just going to have to deal with this for the rest of the video. I thought it'd be fine. I can hear it's getting worse, so apologies for that. But now we're moving on to Infinity War. Maybe the Infinity Stones can help me get rid of this.
Yeah, and this is probably going to be the shortest section as well, because obviously Spidey's not a Spidey film.
It's not a Spidey film, but it's the only other Spidey thing that he's been in, obviously apart from Civil War, and it's been the latest one. If you haven't seen Infinity War, and if you are a superhero fan, go watch Infinity War. I mean, you will be depressed by the end of it, but it's a damn good film.
Yeah. Yeah, if you're a casual person, that obviously we know that the characters have come back, as obviously most us fans do. But if you're a casual watcher and you only watch the films, you don't have any knowledge of the comic books and their storylines, yeah, you're gonna feel pretty crushed that they just killed off everyone.
Oh, spoilers! Oh wait, no, we did that warning at the beginning. Sorry.
Yeah. So yeah, with spoilers, we'll save here. So
everybody apart from like dies. 5 main characters die.
The only
and there are a lot of main characters in this.
The only Guardian left is Rocket.
Oh, that bit when Groot.
But Spidey made me cry, and it made Boss cry as well.
It did make me cry. Apart from the fact that his suit is CGI, so at some certain shots it looks like he's a floating head.
Yeah, and again,
only some shots though. Some are better than others.
Yeah, I get it. I get it for that one. That's why it's kind of I'm like it's CG, but I guess it had to be because I don't. The effect, obviously, where the mask comes up and comes down. Yeah, that just and the same with Tony's. I would kind of wish it was still on his head and didn't completely just
yeah.
So, but I know that Robert Downey hasn't been in armour since like the first Iron Man or the second one.
He only had like a couple of bits on just for like lighting reference. That's about it.
But they did the same for Spidey. But yeah, I knew that. I don't know. I guess I was hoping for some reason that it would be as soon as obviously you said, that's CG. And then seeing Infinity War, I was like, I guess it had to be. So it's so shiny.
There's ways around they could have done it, but
I'm sure. But for reasons I chose CG, which is fair enough.
It's easier. Yeah. I think a practical suit would have been really difficult.
I guess. Yeah, and it's cheap. CG's cheaper, obviously. That's why people obviously mostly use it. But yeah, Infinity War, best crossover because obviously they're just built on years and years.
10 years worth of world
building and character building
as culminated in this film.
So that's how you do it. DC. Moving on.
Oh my god, we're going to get into a whole new debate if we move into the DC universe.
I like DC, okay? I love DC.
I like the Joker and Batman, that's about it.
I love DC. Man of Steel and Wonder Woman. Yes. Anyway, but I like DC, but my god, sort it out. I haven't seen that command, but sort it out.
Sort it out, DC.
Right, moving on. Back to the subject.
Justice League was trash. I keep saying trash, just because I mean it.
Right, and more good stuff. So Spidey obviously gets some really good heroic moments. He basically saves Doctor Strange. He comes up with the plan. I mean, quite a funny one, obviously, pop culture reference, Aliens, what a film. And he basically saves Doctor Strange and him not getting saved by Tony Stark, like in Homecoming, where obviously Tony Stark is pretty much saving him and giving him more lessons and stuff. And
he disobeys Tony Stark.
You're an Avenger.
Yeah.
You're an Avenger now. So and he disobeys Tony Stark. So yeah, he gets some really good character moments.
He's becoming more brave.
Yeah.
It's nice to see him develop.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's just there's more development. Even obviously it's a massive crossover film. Everyone's in it. There's still some good Spidey character development. It's just like yes. And then the ending.
And then
he's coming back.
He is coming back.
We'll explain it more in the Far From Man. But just he cannot be set before Infinity War. That was the point I was going to just trying to being all mysterious about. If for some reason God, it's not. I know it's not. It's not.
I'm pretty sure it's been confirmed. It's not.
But if it's before, because it would confuse casual audience, I think, as well. But for some ungodly reason, if it's set before Infinity War, that would upset me because it'd be put into more doubt of is he actually coming back? But he can't be. It's been I'm pretty sure
he's the highest grossing superhero there is.
So
they'd be mad.
But yeah, they're all coming back pretty much because you can't get off Black Panther again as well because that's like the highest.
They're up for an Oscar. You can't get off Black Panther.
So yeah, and linking back to Star Wars, Last Jedi, the costumes in this film. I love my Iron Spider. I got one of my costumes is Iron Spider, and it's very good. Again, and going back to Last Jedi, like what do they get? Like minor costume changes,
like a palette swap.
Rey gets a palette swap.
Rey gets a palette swap,
and darker robes, and Kylo gets nothing really, just a cape.
Quilts.
Yeah.
He has a quilted shirt.
So, and maskless, which I do wish they would keep the mask, which apparently they're going to bring back in the last one, fingers crossed, because he does look better, I think, in the mask.
Yeah.
Because again,
it looks less like Snape.
I didn't know I actually thought about that, you know.
He looks like Snape.
So, yeah, great costume design, especially obviously for Spidey. It was teased at the end of Homecoming, the Iron Spider. So, yes, that was awesome to see that, and just... Yeah, obviously people get annoyed if that is provided by Stark, but
the Iron Spider makes sense because in the comics it's also built by Stark. So
exactly. So
for its original suit, I can see why people are annoyed. For Iron Spider, that's the origin of the suit. That's why it's called Iron Spider because it's built by Iron Man.
Iron Man. So yeah, Spidey gets an awesome costume, and yeah, for some reason in Last Jedi they hardly get anything, which is really annoying.
Obviously, next up we've got Far From Home. That's due to drop July.
Yes, July.
Wow, I nearly couldn't get that word out there. July.
April was Endgame. So
that's because I'm going to be another year older and I'm scared. So yeah, that's going to drop pretty soon, and obviously we don't know that much about it. It's going to be Spider-Man's next standalone film, but I can say I think out of all the Star Wars stuff, we are most hyped for Far From Home than we are for Episode 9.
Because of this guy, he's one of the main reasons why. This guy. Yes.
We referred to him as the most beautiful Marvel boy, even though I can't say that in front of Dr. Octopus, because Dr. Octopus is my favourite Spider-Man villain ever, so shush. But we're both fans of Mysterio. Mysterio for me is number 2. Is he? What place is Mysterio for you? Is he number 1? Or is someone else above Mysterio?
I think it's got to be Mysterio. No, it's Mysterio and then it's got to be Carnage. So like my head went automatically to Venom, but Venom's he's more of a anti-hero. He's more of a
he's not
hero
quite
side.
A villain. He's just fun.
So yeah, I'd say Mysterio probably is number 1, maybe even joint with Carnage. I'm mixing it up now. I shouldn't. No, so it's Mysterio and then it's Carnage.
So Mysterio hasn't had an on-screen appearance before. He's a little bit of a joke. Well, that's his character. Anyway, but I think he's a pretty damn good one to have. I've been campaigning to have Mysterio in a film for quite a long time. Mysterio is the master of illusion. He is a Hollywood stuntman and special effects expert, so he conjures up massive illusions, has done in the comics, in the cartoons, and being that the film industry is so laser focused on CGI, having someone who can literally create anything into an illusion, surely you'd think that would be a good fit for a villain. But I'm glad that they waited until now, because I think now is probably a good time
the golden
to release a character like Mysterio. Where I think a lot of newcomers are going to be like, what?
Yeah, they all, as we said in our trailer reaction, which we guess would link somewhere.
Links will probably be at the end of the video if you're interested.
Yeah, just the amount of popularity he's going to get for newcomers, the amount of merch we're going to get.
We're excited about the merch.
So good.
And just
and just the golden age that we're living in. That is just comic book movies, really, or just Marvel movies. It's the golden era of Marvel movies.
It's been the golden era for like 10 years.
Yeah, so
they've done well.
Yeah, they've done. Yeah, again, really, the only minor kind of one I didn't like was Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, but I know you like that.
I like it. I think it's really good.
But I just found it one and done film. But that's kind of like the only kind of one that, yeah, I'm just not a big fan on. But going back to Far From Home, yeah, I think it is the best time to introduce him. And again, it's just we kind of missed it out on our trailer breakdown of. I mentioned it after we did that video where it can just do more connections to the MCU because Mysterio could have found something from Doctor Strange's sanctum. There was one in London, and you see London in Far From Home, or something to do with Doctor Strange that gives him those powers. So,
yeah, because we noticed in the trailer when Mysterio is fighting either an illusion or what could be Hydra Man, which we'll get onto in a moment. The symbols that was in front of his hands looked like the mystic arts that Doctor Strange uses. So, instead of him just being a really good special effects artist, because, you'd have to be a really good special effects artist to be able to fly without the assistance of wires, it gives his powers more credence and links into the MCU. So, it's a good time to do it. Yeah, very good time.
Pretty much jumping on from what you said, and the best thing is, we could have more villains, which would be great.
More unseen villains.
Hydra Man, Molten Man,
and Sandman. Even though Sandman was done in Spider-Man 3, but like I said, we don't talk about that one because of Sony.
Yes.
How dare they? So
So there's a potential to see more villains, or they could just be illusions.
They could be
of
illusions.
Mysterio, but as people probably point out, probably around about this time is more villains usually equals bad. Well, not really, but just not necessarily. Yes, can do, but not necessarily if they're written well.
There's a thing is, if you're doing multiple villains, where you fall down in that is if you're doing multiple villains and you have to do multiple villain origin stories. The 2-hour film cannot hold that much and give good enough character to each one of those villains, which is where Spider-Man 3 fell apart.
Yeah.
Which is, I mean, I know we were expecting the new Green Goblin, but in Spider-Man 3, the new Green Goblin is absent for half the film because they introduced him, knocked him out, gave him amnesia, and that portion of the film where the Green Goblin isn't is where they introduced Sandman and the black suit, which was not written very well. And then at the very end, they did the Venom origin story. Then they brought Green Goblin back, and then Sandman. It was a bit of a mess. And again, Amazing Spider-Man 2, I have to bring it up. They had Electro, Green Goblin, and Rhino. So that's 3 villain origin stories. They did all 3 in one. Even though Rhino didn't really get much. I feel really bad if you're a Rhino fan and you watch that film, because Rhino at the beginning was he was Alexi, but his name is like Alex O'Hearn or something. His name again changes depending on what you're watching or reading. So you see him as like a sort of a terrorist kind of guy in the beginning, I guess, and then at literally the very end of the film, he gets a mech suit out of nowhere. The Rhino has become a tank mech suit. That's just wrong.
I saw that. Yeah, it's just Paul Giamatti in a mech suit.
And the final shot of the film is the final shot of the trailer, which is also terrible. And I remember watching the credits roll going, are you serious? The final shot of the film is literally at the start of a fight scene with the Rhino. And so we got Electro. Electro's the main villain of Amazing Spider-Man 2. Again, his character is rushed to hell, which can be very clearly seen in the one scene in Times Square where he goes, oh, Spider-Man, because he's like a massive Spider-Man fan. And Spider-Man forgot his name.
I know bits of it.
And then he's like, oh my god, you must hate me, now I'm going to kill you. What? And then we've got Green Goblin, which is also terrible.
I just remember his really horrible teeth
in
some screenshot. Yeah, again, I don't know. I've seen probably most of the film without watching the film fully.
Yeah.
Because people just shit on it. And too right. Right. Because it just fell over on every hurdle, it sounds.
Yeah.
And it just didn't sound like enjoyable to me. So that's
Harry Osborn becomes the Goblin because he has a a disease he's inherited from his father, which only triggers when his father tells him, oh, by the way, the disease I've got, you've got it. You've always had it. But only after he tells him does the disease actually start coming out.
That's ridiculous.
His father is old, and his father is only now just dying. And Harry Osborn, it's suddenly triggered, and it suddenly escalates rapidly as to how quickly the disease takes him over.
That's ridiculous.
And then he wants to get Spider-Man's blood, and then there's a whole horrible subplot with that. And then the actual spider venom he injects himself with to try and cure himself starts turning him into like a meth head. And so his way of getting fixed is he's in the Oscorp basement, where in this universe Oscorp creates everything. Every supervillain is Oscorp. That sucks, because that's just creatively bankrupt. And so just randomly these doors open, and behind these doors is the Green Goblin suit and glider. Like literally they just open and he just starts crawling towards it, he gets in it, he's become Goblin.
Ridiculous.
It was terrible. Terrible. I know people didn't like the Green Goblin design in the first Sam Raimi, but oh my god, at least they gave him plot. Oh.
So that, in short, is how you do bad villains, multiple villains.
But we will probably get more onto multiple villains when we talk about the video games in a later section.
Indeed.
Yes, there are more things to come. This video is going to be a long one, ladies and gentlemen.
It's a long one, but hey, you can just sit this on in the background and podcast.
Yeah, it's a
podcast style.
Podcast
yeah, exactly.
with my terrible voice, and
Exactly.
I apologise once again.
So, but yeah, that was the kind of the point of that's how you do bad writing. So this one, it could easily be done. Yeah, they'd be good with their multiple villains, but they could all just come under one because it's all illusions of Mysterio bigging himself up, and obviously he's gonna be the villain. If he's the hero, it's two options. If he's gonna be the hero to fight these off because maybe he made them by accident or whatever. And then obviously towards the end of the film, he's going to be the villain, or he's the villain from the start. It's
going to be the plot of the cartoons. I'm pretty sure where Mysterio, he wants the limelight. That's his whole thing. He wants to be known, and he doesn't like Spider-Man. So he in the cartoons and the comics, he creates problems. People don't know he's created them, but then he comes into something like JJ reckons Spider-Man does. Like creates problems and gets seen to be saving them, and then becomes the hero. So I remember people on Twitter were going, "Oh, is Mysterio going to be a good guy in this film?" I'm like, do you not know who Mysterio is?
But then that's the great thing of people don't know.
I forget. People don't know who Mysterio is.
And then people are going to be introduced to him. So it's a nice thing for casual people.
He's the bad guy.
Yeah. Spoiler.
It's not a spoiler alert. If you look at one Mysterio comic, you will know.
Yeah. So, and we were so glad as well to see the dome.
Oh my god, yes, we were worried he didn't have the fishbowl.
That was one thing, we were going to have the fishbowl. He wasn't going to have the fishbowl head. So yeah, to round it off, we are very, very looking forward to Far From Home.
More than Star Wars.
More than Star Wars.
This is a crime against my soul.
Yes, so, and I guess the one kind of thing I could say with, I guess, villains and Star Wars is at least they are kind of building up Kylo a bit more, and his kind of outcome is like, will he eventually be good or will he be bad and have to kill him? They've still had time to mess it up, but
please don't.
Again, just by
give us a good one.
But just by trying to link it up, more excited for Far From Home with its villains than what they're going to do episode 9. So we're not going to mention any speculation because we
don't know anything about speculation about episode 9. We don't even know a title. There's no trailer. There's no nothing. So
we just hope it's good.
That's all we can do.
Right, we're on to spin-off films now. Obviously, starting with Star Wars. As much as I don't like to talk a lot, I may have to now because unfortunately, Boss's voice has just gone like that. We've just stopped for dinner, and
hello.
Yeah, so
it's coming a little bit, but it's difficult.
So
I will try and make some input, but I sound like I've just smoked a pack a day. And I've aged 50 years.
Been on 50 a day.
Get off my lawn. So,
damn youngsters. So I will be doing most of ish talking. We'll see how that goes. So, best foot forward, I think. Rogue One is pretty much the best example of a spin-off film for the Star Wars universe. It is the best one. I mean, that is the staple now of most people kind of say, oh, it wasn't as good as Rogue One, so that is so good to hear. Because I remember going and seeing that, and kind of I watched the first teaser trailer and that was it. I didn't subject myself to any more trailers, and it was just the film was just 10 times better. Because I just didn't want any more footage. Because I just saw that teaser, and I was like, that was it, I'm hooked.
Not that the footage actually matched up with what was in the film.
Yeah.
Because they had a bunch of reshoots, so half the shots that were in the trailers were missing.
Yeah. And I've said it multiple times where the Sol Guerrero bit in the trailer, I was kind of looking for that in the film, but obviously it didn't happen. But that's fine, it's kind of a mystery of how Jim is going to turn out. But yeah, Rogue One is basically how you do a spin-off film. It is the best one, and all future spin-off films obviously basically just comparisons to Rogue One.
The first and currently the best.
Yes, and argue it's definitely our favourites, I think, or of the new one, of course K2, and of course the massive build by Boss, which is still pretty awesome.
I did not pay him to say that.
So just PayPal, the usual.
Yeah, so I think the reason why I like Rogue One so much, this is a struggle to get out. I'm gonna get it out there though. It's instantly recognisable that it is from the Star Wars universe, but it is fresh and it does something, and it stands alone, and it's like a standalone spin-off. And to me, that's the direction the spin-offs have gone, is the direction that the main film should have gone.
Yeah.
Do something recognisable, but something completely different.
Yeah. And the kind of Rogue One echoing that, and especially solos, which we'll talk about obviously next. I heard someone on the production team, I can't remember their name exactly, but just like it's gone back to that classic, you can see the nuts and bolts and everything kind of look.
Yeah.
Like the dirty future, as it were. So like even a Jeddah looks run down. Obviously, you get like obviously it reminds you of like Tatooine and stuff like that, and like even.
But it's still different enough from Tatooine.
Yeah, Jakku
is not.
No, but you just get that old style of you can see the nuts and bolts and everything. Just each location was just that's just perfect. They just recreated that. I mean,
it was a complaint I heard. People saying that they jumped from location to location and they didn't like that because it was too quick. I thought it worked really well.
Flowed really nicely. I thought the pacing was spot on, really. The only bad thing, a minor gripe, is a nitpick I have, is unfortunately the cameo with R2 and C-3PO was pretty much for fan service, and it breaks that whole bit. Or they're supposed to be on the ship. When they say Admiral Ash is in space, they're supposed to be on that ship. On the blockade runner. They're not supposed to be on Yavin 4. That's the only thing that annoys me, because it just knocks out, like, you basically didn't take the plot into consideration. If they were shown and they were on the blockade runner at the end, fine, perfect. But seeing as though in Yavin 4, it was literally for like, hey, let's put...
Unless they said, oh look, they're going to Scarif, and someone grabbed them and went, yeah, you're going to Scarif as well, get on the ship. Yeah.
But that's the only gripe I have with Rogue One, a minor teensy-wincy speck on this massive, awesome cake. Because, I mean, you get new characters. Krennic, arguably one of the best new villains to come in.
Definitely.
And amazing to have Tarkin back. I was so surprised when they actually, obviously, the way they did it, which I thought was fantastic.
I think it was really good. I know people have complained going, oh, you shouldn't have had Tarkin in the film, or if you did, it should have just been the beginning where they just did the reflection.
Yeah.
And I thought the reflection was how they were going to do it.
Yeah.
I didn't expect him to turn around and find a full CGI head.
Yeah.
Because people are like, oh, it's self-putting, you've got a CGI head that isn't quite right next to a human actor.
Right.
But the thing is, though, you do have to look at it from a filmmaker's perspective. Humans look at each other every day, and we know how we look. We know how everything moves. We know how skin looks. Computer-generated images will never, I don't think, ever be able to recreate humans that look literally exactly the same as if I'm looking at you right now. because it's the uncanny valley. I don't think you'll ever get out of it. So it's done as well as it possibly could be done. I think Tarkin he's essential to the plot of the Death Star.
Yeah, you can't.
So he kind of needed to be there.
You cannot have. You can't have the chief administrator in Any Hope that isn't in the film before it.
Yeah, it wouldn't make sense.
It wouldn't make sense.
And you know they did do it in a respectful manner. He's not like forefront in the film constantly. Again, he's in enough of it, but it was done well.
But the weird thing about that is I heard, because again, Uncanny Valley. Yeah, sometimes you can see that. It is. I'm pretty sure. I think it's solid throughout. The weirdest one is I actually think that the Leia
a little bit
was worse. Yeah, it was a bit too whoa. But
I think it's easier to. You're doing obviously Tarkin is an older man. He's got a lot more defined features. You've got wrinkles. You've got different discoloration areas of the skin. Whereas you think Carrie Fisher when she was 19, just like perfect, looks flawless. Obviously you got a crap ton of makeup on when you're in the movies. So to recreate something that looks like flawless skin in the computer is a lot harder. I think that's where it fell down, was because basically she's younger than Tarkin. She's got less definition in her face.
Yeah. So still on the subject of good characters, I cannot mention the Death Troopers because it's the whole reason why my name is my Instagram handle, and like my favourite cosplay that I have, I cosplay Death Trooper in our group. So yeah, Death Troopers are a really, really cool inclusion. They took the concept designs, inspiration from the concept designs of Ralph McQuarrie, and just wanted a new scary trooper, and pretty much the well, I think they said at the Navy SEALs equivalent, the SAS, whatever you want to, the Special Forces basically of Stormtroopers, and they were awesome. And of course you see Death Troopers in Rebels. They rumoured supposedly to appear in The Mandalorian, which makes me very excited. So, and then we also get some other characters introduced, I believe from, I haven't watched it, so don't kill me. Clone Wars is Sol Guerrero?
Sol Guerrero's from Clone Wars.
Yeah, so nice to kind of see putting from... They do actually a lot with... I actually watched the making of it quite recently. They kind of reference more of the animated stuff that's happened, like Easter eggs in the Sol Guerrero, yeah, and stuff that's happened in like Rebels and like or Clone Wars mainly, because they
Clone Wars is really good. That's why.
Yeah.
Thing is, well, you don't have to have watched and know about the character from Clone Wars to understand him in this film. But like I haven't seen the episodes with Saw Gerrera in. I saw there was an episode of Rebels with Saw in it. And yeah, so I'd seen that, and that was after Rogue One, and that's it. And you don't need to see it to understand his character, which is a good thing. Yeah,
and I mean there are other references as well. Like again, I haven't watched it, but I think Chopper makes like a brief like cameo in it as well.
Chopper is in the background,
and the ship,
the ghost, and over the intercom you hear calling General Syndulla.
Yeah, so there seems to be a lot of kind of love for the animated stuff, which is. No film's done that yet that I can think of what's on my head, unless I'm wrong in that. I mean, yeah, no film has kind of referenced any. No Last Jedi hasn't mentioned anything. And of course, Force Awakens. So yeah, it's nice to see them kind of go back and kind of give praise to different, I guess, genre of Star Wars. So just the animated side. So yeah.
And there's one thing Star Wars I think has above Spider-Man at the moment. Well, did. I haven't seen Resistance because I didn't know it was out, because there was literally no like advertising, no fanfare, nothing.
Yeah, I completely forgot about that until you mentioned it today, the day filming.
Yeah, but Rebels was really good. I really enjoyed it. And I think, I don't know what the most recent Spider-Man cartoon is. I think it's still the new Ultimate Spider-Man. I don't really rate that. So that's like the one thing that's definitely above is it's I think Star Wars has got slightly better TV shows.
TV shows, yeah, I can't remember. I'm still stuck in the 90s cartoon Spider-Man, because he was my favourite. So I kind of went, yeah, I'm happy with just this one. So yeah, I do need to watch Clone Wars and Rebel. I heard amazing things about Rebels.
It takes a little while to get going, but once it does, it's awesome.
Resistance, and even the little animated shorts that they've done for the recap for the kids, Destiny, Forces of Destiny. Those are really cool. The recent one with Count Dooku Yoda fight. It's just the animation is just absolutely beautiful. So, yeah, it's got. That's a long old point to say. It's got some great characters, new characters. The squad, obviously Jin, Cassian, K2, probably
Bodhi. Although I'm very annoyed that Bodhi's surname is Rook, and I've been trooping under the name Commander Rook since 2009, and Bodhi Rook is an Imperial defector, and I'm full Imperial. I feel like really offended, and my surname for my Stormtrooper character is linked to an Imperial defector. Do not like that.
Everyone's got one in the family, you know, so...
Related to Spider-Man and related to a defector. Can't have it both ways, I guess.
Bodhi, Baze and Chirrut, they were fantastic as well. And it's just the whole film, just the diversity of the characters as well. Cast, just, yeah, a good, really good mix, multicultural. So, like... Yeah, like, and some of the it has probably got some of the best humour in any Star Wars film as well. I mean, K2,
he's amazing.
And you almost shot me. You're welcome. So, are you kidding me? I'm blind. Just Baze and Chirrut probably have probably the most comedic, and then K2.
Best bromance.
Yeah. Oh, it's just and
droids work as comic relief.
I find that answer vague and unconvincing. So it's quite a quotable Star Wars.
How come she gets a blaster and I don't?
Yeah, just it's so good. Like you cared about. I cared about. Obviously, we all knew the outcome at the end of the film, but we all cared about the characters. I think more than kind of we've seen more into. It seems like we've seen more into these characters than we have anyone in The Force Awakens or Last Jedi. Yeah. I mean, Finn hasn't been kind of fleshed out enough, I don't think.
No, this is kind of the point of like... They knew they only had these characters for this one film, so they made sure they gave each character a good bit of time. Whereas in the main films, they know they've got 3, so they're kind of stretching it out, so it makes it seem... very bare bones in the main films, whereas the spin-offs are like crammed full as much as we can get in there. Good stuff, not overly crammed.
No. And probably one of the best things that Gareth Edwards did was he set out to make a war film, and you definitely see those tones in just obviously the action scenes, the Jedi, but especially just the fine line between what the the fine line that rebels have to do to win it. They obviously Cassian kills that guy at the start because he has to get away the way because he's going to get caught. So the lines are really blurry. Of even the rebels have got to do some like messed up stuff.
I think the final version of the film we saw is actually a lot lighter than the original version. So I would like to see the original cut where it's a lot darker. Like this is war. Yeah. But I think they found a good balance in the end.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think I did, with the making, I think they did show, I think some interviews they did actually, kind of shed light on the original one where, like, I think K2 reaches it onto like the beach and then he dies, and then there's also Jin's body there as well. Like, so yeah, I did hear that they did do some reshoots, but...
Yeah, the original ending for Krennic sounded interesting as well. Krennic was meant to survive, not get killed by Tarkin. Krennic was meant to survive, go back, and face the wrath of Vader, and Vader was meant to stab him. I was like, ooh, that would have been fun to see. That would have been
good. And nice segue onto Vader as well. He is used, like, perfectly. I mean, Gareth Edwards said that there's a fight that you have to be very careful with him, otherwise people would just want him in the film. So I think he was used pretty perfect. Like, he was perfect, because he was...
2 major scenes.
Yeah.
Both of them very nice.
Yeah. And
that final one.
That final one. I wish it was a little bit longer.
No, I think it was
people
enough.
say that it was enough. Okay,
it leaves you clamouring for more. It's
I remember just before I saw that, I saw a little bit from Kevin Smith saying basically Darth Vader gets his Jason Voorhees moment, and it pretty much was exactly. I was like, oh no, don't say that, but at the same time, oh my god, what does that mean? What does that mean?
See,
and I saw it, and I was like, oh my god, it was amazing.
I wasn't expecting that in bit at all. So it was like when Vader goes, prepare a boarding party, and I was like, oh.
Yeah.
And then there's like, and the lightsaber comes on. I think my mum recounts me as like, literally, because I don't remember what I'm doing. I'm just so excited. I'm 24. You'd think I was 5. But apparently I was sitting in the chair, like literally right on the edge of the cinema seat. Watching it in 4DX, so these seats are moving, I don't care. And she says the look on your face when Vader came out. And it was just like... I'm a child at heart.
So good. Just that, and it does make me laugh that people when people say like, obviously it goes straight into A New Hope. Oh, Vader was so good with his lightsaber skills, and then nothing in New Hope. Yeah, because A New Hope was shot in the 70s.
Shot in the 70s, with 2 actors, one who could barely see out of his helmet, and swords that weren't proper stunt swords, so they couldn't hit each other with it because they were still experimenting with the special effects of the lightsaber. You can see the wire going up Alec Guinness's sleeve that powers the rotating blade with reflective film on it. When people say that, just go, listen, at that point you have to look at it as a film production, not a canon thing.
I mean, you could even argue, if you really wanted to, people have said that, because he was out of the Bacta tank so long, and pretty much what Boss said. At the end of the day, you have to kind of go, come on. It was 90. It goes straight to a film that was shot back in the 70s.
Film back in the 77.
That started it all.
40 years ago.
So yeah. But that's again that doesn't bother me. That scene alone was just like, there's so many great bits of Rogue One. So yeah, it's pretty much that is the bar that every other standalone films kind of got to go near, because people are just going to say, well, it wasn't as good as the Rogue One, it wasn't as good. It probably would never be, because I think people have got that bar in their head now, and I don't know what's going to go above it. So it was just top. So next is Solo, a Star Wars story. I had no issues with this film.
No.
It was great. It wasn't amazing, but it wasn't terrible. Like,
it's Marvel film level.
Yeah, it is.
It wasn't the most amazing thing you've ever seen. It wasn't terrible. It was good and enjoyable.
We did a troop before we saw the film. It was me, Captain So, my dad, all of us part of the group, and we saw it, and we had an absolute blast. The main reason I think people automatically, full stop, when it first got announced as well, that didn't like it, because Harrison Ford wasn't in it. He wasn't Han Solo. But I'm sorry, you cannot have a young Solo film and not cast someone new. Harrison Ford, it's not possible. Harrison Ford he's old Solo now. And
he doesn't want to do Han anymore.
He doesn't want to do Han anymore. And it just wouldn't have worked. It would not have worked. So the chappie, I forget the name off the top of his head. I thought he did a great job.
I think
he had all the mannerisms.
He didn't do, like you were saying, he doesn't do like an impression of Han Solo.
No, he does his own thing. But you can definitely see the influences of you definitely see the influences of how Harrison Ford has played the character, definitely, with mannerisms but never puts on the voice. I mean, everyone's, even for a bit, my fantasy casting was, if you haven't seen it, Jamie Costa does an absolutely fantastic Han Solo, and his fan film Solo: A Smuggler's Story is really good fun, and he obviously he does it exactly like Harrison Ford would have done it, but in reality he just wouldn't have been. He would have basically been doing a Harrison Ford impersonation throughout the film. So yeah, the new chappie who did Solo, he played Han Solo, I thought he was great.
Good job. So again, this film has a very good tone. This one we're going with more of a heist film kind of thing, which not something that Star Wars has really done. Not to my current knowledge, nothing comes to mind. But again, a lot of the humour comes from Han, because that's just his kind of character.
Yeah.
Like the dynamic between Han and Chewie. And Han starts speaking Shriwook.
Yeah, and I mean, even in L3, there's obviously some kind of iconic relic on the side, and even the banter.
Sorry,
between...
L3 is a little bit too close to K2. It's like they're like, K2 worked.
Yeah.
Let's do it again.
Yeah.
This droid really likes equal rights.
But obviously, it's a nice way of how you get into the story, into how the Millennium Falcon's got the navigational
system.
So that was really good to put in. It was really weird as well because Dad kept saying it did sound like even though it wasn't, I can't remember her name off the top of my head. Captain Phasma. It wasn't Captain.
Gwendolyn Christie.
Gwendolyn Christie, that's the one. Yeah, but it sounded very similar to Gwendolyn Christie, but it wasn't at all.
No, not different actress.
So yeah, that was a funny.
She was good. I'm not saying I don't like the character because I do.
Oh yeah, well, I love Phasma. I just wish that she was done properly and given some flesh and just.
Oh, I'm talking about L3.
Oh bloody okay!
I'm talking about L3. Yeah. That's okay.
Say that again.
That's funny. We'll just edit around that bit. You know, it's natural conversation.
Okay.
It's cool.
Alright, okay.
So yeah, L3 is still good. Just because I love droids. My favourite shot was when she frees all the droids in a console room and there's a gonk droid just smashing a keyboard.
Yeah.
I loved it. I was just like, I want to take that gonk droid home.
Yeah. Yeah, and just nice little kind of sprinkles of... I mean, Rogue One obviously had a lot of fan service.
It is.
This has a considerable less amount, so like how obviously Han got his blaster.
They don't make like a really big deal out of it, which is nice.
Which people were hoping they would kind of. Again, I hear both sides of this. I have, if he's just throwing, I thought that was good as well. I think people are like expect like, oh, he must have got it from doing this. So sometimes like literally the simplest thing.
It's literally they just took a sniper apart and went, there you go,
there's your blaster. Obviously the escape pod with Millennium Falcon, the Falcon, sorry. Well, they say Falcon in this.
Yeah,
it's Falcon.
It's
Falcon,
American accent.
Yeah,
that's fine. So good guys are American in Star Wars. Bad guys are British.
Yeah. So yeah, you get the escape pod on the Falcon. So there's nice stuff, and obviously the suit that oh bloody hell, what's his name?
Woody Harrelson's
character. He's got the.
It's got the
bounty hunter suit that Lando wears in the Jedi.
That was pretty cool.
How was his name?
I genuinely can't remember. I just call him Woody Harrelson because the actors really recognisable.
What was his name? Bloody hell. We're going to say Woody... Oh, no, it's really...
Hang on, no, I'll Google it. It's fine.
Google.
Tobias
Beckett, that's the one. And obviously with Tobias Beckett, Woody Harrelson's character, he's wearing the costume, obviously Lando's in disguise at Jabba's palace in Return of the Jedi, so that was kind of cool. Cool little fan service here and there, and obviously the Kessel Run being the main one, and bringing back the Astro music, I loved that bit. I wasn't expecting that, and I was like, yes, it's the Astro music, because that is... I don't think people go on about that particular music. That
piece of soundtrack is very good.
I think it's very underrated, that particular one.
I listen to that when I'm driving, which is a really bad idea because I just want to drive like that.
So good. So I was happy to hear that come back. And you had obviously sprinkles of the John Williams theme throughout. So, I mean, John Williams did... was it?
No, just the spin-offs are done by different... Michael did Rogue One, I don't know if he did Solo. But obviously used bits of John Williams' themes, because I know John Williams only wants to do the main films, and after the main films are done, he's not doing anymore. No. Well, one of the other points is the whole of the Kessel Run was amazing. Yeah. From music to visuals, the Death Star coming out of that fog. Not the Death Star, the Star Destroyer, sorry. Yeah. That was amazing. Loved that.
Rogue One in mind.
Again, well, I know I am biased because of the love of the Empire.
Yeah, because the two spin-off films, I think we've enjoyed more than the mains. As much as I like Force Awakens, I think if I had to pick, if I had to pick between Force Awakens and Rogue One, I'd watch Rogue One.
Oh, every time.
And if I ever had to pick between Last Jedi and Solo, I'd pick Solo. Because the Kessel Run bit, with the Star Destroyer come out of the the wormhole-y,
the
maelstrom. It was awesome, and obviously seeing a new TIE fighter. So
Yeah.
sprinkle little new bits.
Again, I think that TIE fighter was introduced in Rebels, but you don't need to know that. It's just a new TIE fighter.
So,
But if you want to know what it is, I think it's in Rebels. I think
Yeah.
it's one of Thrawn's ones. I could be wrong. Pretty sure it is. Someone's going to tell me you're wrong and you're a bad Star Wars fan. But hey,
I still need to catch up on Rebels and all the stuff like that.
you just love it for the Death Troopers.
Oh yeah, I know Thrawn's got them.
There's already. End of season 2. You love that, because
Yeah.
I did.
Cool. Yeah, I do hear Thrawn's in it. I do love Thrawn, and obviously my DTs are in it as well. So more reason to watch it. And I hear there's some really cool Vader bits in it at some point as well. And Ahsoka, I hear, is a really good character as well.
And very cool Darth Maul bits, which lead us on to the end of Solo.
Yes.
I think I jumped out of my seat.
Did, and I liked how they had a little bit of Duel of Fates in there as well. And I know he ignites the lightsaber.
Everyone's going, why is he igniting his lightsaber? He doesn't need to.
I know he doesn't need to, but again, we haven't seen Maul on screen since Phantom Menace. Look at a poster right now.
It's a good film, shut up.
So, I like it. I know, like I say...
I will defend Phantom Menace to the end of my days.
I like Phantom, because
apart from Jar Jar, I'm not defending that.
No, but like I said quickly, every prequel film has a good bits. Episode 1 is Darth Maul. He is bad ass. So seeing him at the end of Solo, I was like, oh god, it's Darth Maul and robot legs. Yes.
Yeah, because I wasn't sure it was at first. Because you see him from the back, and all you see is a hooded figure with robot legs, and I'm like, who's that? And I recognised the voice, but I couldn't figure out who it was at first, because it's not Peter Serafanowicz's Darth Maul, who did the voice for Darth Maul in Episode 1. It's I remember Peter Serafanowicz. Sam Witwer. There you go. Sam Witwer does the voice of Darth Maul in Clone Wars and in Rebels, and has reprised his role for Solo, and has done a fantastic job.
A good trivial note is he actually played Starkiller in the Force Unleashed game, so that's pretty cool, keeping him around.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And also, can we just say, Ray Park, you're awesome, man.
Oh,
no matter what they say, no, you're not fat. You're cool. We love you.
We do. If you don't follow him on Instagram, do it right now, because it is like he is
the
funny.
man is a beast.
He's you're hench, isn't he?
Oh god, he could break you with his pinky finger.
And just he's just such a he's a fan like us.
He's a great laugh.
Half the video he puts up is him sparring it by himself with lightsabers, or
wearing weird masks.
Yeah, wearing masks.
Scaring his kids.
Answering the door to the pizza man and Mando helmet, and saying on his stories, which one should I wear for the pizza guy? He's awesome.
He's great.
So cool.
And he did, even though Maul literally only sat down and ignited a lightsaber, that guy went through a serious amount of training, because he didn't know what he was going to do, because it was obviously so secretive that Maul was going to be in this.
Yeah.
So, props to him.
Oh yeah.
So he got a fair bit of hate from a certain subset of people, which we won't mention, which caused a rift between him and them. But we're just going to say, we love you, dude.
We love you, yeah.
And it has actually given us a spin-off film which can have a sequel hook. So even though I don't think it's going to happen, because I've heard it's not happening, there is a possibility you could get a follow-on from Solo with Kira and Darth Maul. Even though the most interesting story you could tell with Darth Maul has been done in Rebels, I think you could still do some more with the character. So
I want to see character.
Yeah, there's always a possibility.
Everyone loves Darth. I think most people's answer of who's your favourite Sith, usually people do actually say Darth Maul, and he's been in 1 film, 2 now, but he's been in Phantom Menace, and that's honest. That's why people love Phantom Menace, just for Darth Maul. So I think people will love to see him in future films. But yeah, just again with the whole we mentioned earlier, the backlash is kind of he said she said it squished the film, and because of this, the boycotts, apparently they've stopped the rumoured Boba Fett movie that apparently was going to go. I really hope they change their mind, because it seems like Disney are just punishing everyone, putting everyone under that kind of banner, and not the people that watch the film, support the film, go watch it, reviewers, fans, and want to support and see more films. And Disney just gone, nope, all this crap, we're not going to do it. And I think that's probably the worst thing you can do, because you. Fair enough, it is, but if it's about making money, but you want to keep people happy as well. I mean, even to the point, little angry bit is bloody talking to the Vader fan film. If you haven't seen that, watch that. It's brilliant. A fellow fan made that from his own back, his own money. Didn't crowdfund it. Spoke to the guys at LucasArts. They said, "Yep, no problem. As long as you don't make money off it, no, don't crowdfund. Go for it." And obviously Disney claimed it because apparently music was taken that had renditions of the Imperial March. No, it was an original score.
It was an original score that used Imperial March, but not an original recording of Imperial March. It was re-recorded and it was about, what, 3 seconds worth of Imperial March in an entirely original score. I understand, yes, that is a copyrighted section, but, you know, and maybe I'm just watching too much Jim Sterling, but I think it's like, you're not competing with... I'm not going to go watch the Vader fan film because I want to hear that second rendition of Imperial March. I think if they were monetizing it, it would be an issue. But I think because the guy got permission, he went through all the proper channels, not monetizing it in any way. And I mean, you're doing a Vader fan film. You're going to have a little bit of Imperial March in there somewhere. I mean, it'd be weird not to.
No.
It'd be like Vader just going around in his boxers because you're not allowed the cape because the cape is copyright.
Yeah.
A what?
Or the image,
Yeah, the image of Vader.
Bloody hell.
You can have Vader, but don't use the helmet.
Imagine that. But, long story short, obviously, LucasArts took it down, which is great news. So, thank you to everyone.
Thank you, Lucasfilm.
Yeah, thanks, Lucasfilm. I thanked them on the day that happened, but yeah.
We want you to have the rights back.
Yeah. So, whoever made that decision to have that taken away, top man, lady, so, yeah, because that fan film was awesome, and...
I'm very much looking forward to episode 2.
Yeah, episode 2, definitely.
Yep, Solo is just another pretty decent Star Wars film that has to survive on its own, and it does. It had production issues, same as Rogue One, but when you've got a talented director like Rogue One had Gareth Edwards, Solo has Ron Howard, you know, it works. If you give talented people the good amount of time and creative influence, they can make something really good. And it's really sad that the spin-offs are doing better than what we consider to be Star Wars.
And I kind of wish that, if it's possible, Gareth Edwards gets a chance to make this trilogy that I think's kind of been put on hold now that Rian Johnson was going to do, possibly.
I've heard of rumours, but nothing beyond that.
No.
I think that was rumoured a while ago.
Was it? Yeah, I know it was rumoured a while ago. But I
haven't not heard anything else since.
But I'm not surprised if it's gone quiet because of the mixed reaction from Last Jedi. But yes, echoing that, Solo is a solid film. The spin-offs have been solid. Yeah, we like them both in the main films. And because very worried. If they announced another spin-off film, I'd be excited for that because I'm very worried what they're going to do with episode 9.
Well, there is another spin-off film coming, isn't there, that we're both actually quite excited for, and we have just mentioned before.
Yes, actually, yeah, that's not a film, which is that The Mandalorian, the new TV. What's it be? 10-part TV series?
Is it 10-part? I thought it was actually going to be a film.
It's a 10-part TV series.
Wow, yeah. It just goes to show I don't research these things. Because I like to go in things as blind as possible, so I will look at a trailer and then I'm done. I won't Google it or anything.
Yeah, what's your chappy, Thor Ragnarok director, he's directing, I think, 1 or 2 episodes.
Oh, yes, no. Tell a lie, I did hear about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, Taika, what... Piss off, Ghost. That's all I know. Piss off, Ghost.
Piss off, Ghost, but Thor Ragnarok's director is going to direct 1 or 2 episodes of The Mandalorian, and Jon Favreau, is it?
Jon Favreau is head director.
Yeah, and obviously we can link him back to Spidey because obviously he's happy. So
he's a good director, and he's fairly well linked with Marvel. I think he has. Yeah, did he direct the first time?
Yeah, he directed the first time.
He directed the first MCU film.
Yeah, so
he started the template of a decent Marvel films. Yeah, so he's gonna do a decent Star Wars show.
I'm very excited. I mean, just from the rumours and the sprinkles, I heard it's set after Return of the Jedi, before Force Awakens, and the Outer Rim. Yeah, I'm excited because we're going to get a Mandalorian character of sorts, whether he or she is an actual bounty hunter, whatever. It looks cool. You got the...
Yeah, all we've seen is pictures.
Yeah.
We've got a title and we've got pictures. Jon Favreau on his Instagram occasionally just releases. Like, we've got the image of what we're guessing is the main character of The Mandalorian.
Yeah.
We've got IG-88.
IG-88 was featured, which is cool because he's...
Which is cool, yeah, he's a classic bounty hunter.
Yeah, bounty hunter, you see him
made
on the
out of
bridge.
set pieces from the cantina in episode 4.
Yeah,
A little bit of trivia.
Yeah.
We have... Well, he had George Lucas come visit him on the set, didn't he, in like a cantina bar set. And they both had a picture together. That was quite nice. So it's nice to see George Lucas is going to be like involved, even if it's just like a tiny bit.
Because I think, especially directors like that, probably would want to get advice from George Lucas. Like,
he is the creator.
Yeah, he's creator.
Despite his many flaws, he's still made Star Wars.
And it's another image I've seen, which I think is 95% correct, that you might actually see some more Death Troopers.
Yes, Death Troopers and Stormtroopers in a background of a set.
Yes, background of a set, so that would be really awesome if you see... yeah, well, for me anyway, I'll be happy if you see those again, because Death Troopers.
Yeah, it'll be interesting how far after the Empire's Fall it's set, because there are novels about it, like you've got Aftermath and Empire's End. I've only read a little bit of Aftermath, but it's like, so far what I've got is like how in disarray the Empire is, and all these different officers on all these different fleets are trying to like get control and try and bring it back, but it's just all very slowly falling apart. So it'd be cool to see like how much the Empire's reach is still stretching over the Outer Rim. Because well, it'd be just death and destruction. It'd be just kind of cool to see, I guess.
Yeah, there's the Empire in disarray. So yeah, it was interesting.
Also, they've got the holiday special rifle.
Yeah,
the holiday special rifle.
Yeah, it looks awesome.
They've updated it and it looks really cool. And now I need to update mine. God damn it.
Yeah.
Mine's a very flimsy cartoon version. It's fine.
The Mandalorian definitely has a pocket of freedom, I think, of where it can go and people can go, no, you can't do that. So I kind of find that exciting. Sounds like they haven't kind of put themselves into a corner with this one. It's basically because they seem to be and it's classic era, which it works. It seems to be that is the prime time to do your spin-offs.
Because when you think of Star Wars, what do you think of? You go Star Wars, you think Vader, Stormtroopers, Emperor, Luke of the Rebellion, because that is, well, it's the OG Star Wars.
Yeah.
And everything has been built off that. That's like the little nucleus and everything is off. Yeah. It's perfect. You keep it in there, it works. Obviously you can move it out of there and it can still work, but you just got to try that extra bit harder and not go take New Hope. Still on that. I'll be on that for the rest of my life, I think.
The rest of the days.
That'll be on my epitaph. Still doesn't like Force Awakens.
So, yeah. It's okay.
Yes, but looking forward to Mandalorian.
Yes.
But it has a TV series, which I forgot about, because I did see the list of directors, and my brain obviously just went, oh no, they're just going to do 10 films. No.
Again, it's spin-off. I'm more excited for that than main episode 9. So,
Star Wars are doing well in spin-offs and TV series, but Spider-Man's doing way better in what they should be doing, which is the big... The films, the big films.
Yeah.
The main story.
Yeah.
Okay, now we move on from the Star Wars spin-offs onto the Spider-Man spin-offs. Spider-Verse!
Probably, we can both say this, the best Spider-Man film that's probably ever been done.
And that's saying a lot considering how much I love Spider-Man 2.
Yeah, and I love Homecoming and Tom Holland Spider-Man, and yeah, I still have a soft spot for Spider-Man 2 and Raimi, but this one is literally just it's amazing. We saw that film and I think we were just like buzzing afterwards.
I think we were. We had the benefit of we saw it at an early preview.
Yeah, we did.
It was a charity preview, and this is like the first proper, I'm guessing, proper movie spin-off that has been done in a long time for Spider-Man. And so we saw an early preview, and kind of had known about this film. Like, you've seen like little bits for a little while, but I mean, there was no hype around this whatsoever.
Not whatsoever until after people started watching it.
Saw it. So we heard all the reviews from like the big reviewers come in before we watched it, and we were like, wow.
I think it was sat on a 90% on Rotten Tomatoes. Check yesterday, it's 97%.
97% on Rotten Tomatoes. That is high. And a lot of the big reviewers who had seen it said it was fantastic. Yeah. So we went to an early preview screening that was like a week before general release. And I mean, I think both of us were just like...
We were just...
throughout the whole film.
The whole film, it was just... just, first of all, even if you're not a Spider-Man film... Even if you're not a Spider-Man fan, the animation just... The first point, the animation, the visual style is just absolutely beautiful.
It's insane.
It's eye candy.
Considering this is, I think, the same studio that made, like, the Emoji Movie made this.
Know that?
Yeah, I think it's the same. Oh, it's just... honestly, there is no way to describe it unless you see it. It's just... many different comic book art styles blend together incredibly seamlessly into a full animated movie. It's colourful, it's alive. Yeah, it's just... there's no one way to describe it. When you watch it, you will understand. So good. I mean, just the soundtrack as well mixes with it so good. Yes.
Songs that are in it and inspired by it, and just... Yeah,
so they've obviously got standard soundtrack pieces of just like music, and they've brought in actual artists to do songs. The most popular one is Post Malone, who we both love.
Yeah, so
Sunflower. It's a great song, and they use it a lot in the film. It just works.
Yeah, it's just so good. It's just talking about the soundtrack. It just blends. So the soundtrack in itself is just linked to Miles Morales, the main character, because obviously he sings Sunflower in most of the scenes.
He's like trying to focus on like wall crawling.
So do what you enjoy, and he starts singing Sunflower, and just the other parts of the film where the music kicks in, and it's just basically, I guess it's just helping the emotional bits for Miles.
Big swing scene at the end with What's Up Danger, where everything slows down, and there's a great shot, I'm sure you guys have seen it circling around on Twitter and in promo stuff, of he jumps off the skyscraper and he breaks the glass behind him. I saw someone explain that as like, you know, being Spider-Man, you don't know if you're going to be ready, it's just a leap of faith. So when he jumps, he's still not sure, so he's still holding on, but the glass breaks, so that's it, he's going, and there's a great shot of him falling, but the camera's inverted, so
flips up.
The skyscrapers are all upside down, so it looks like he's rising. So the great commentary by one of the animators was like, Miles Morales isn't falling, he's rising, he's becoming the hero.
Yeah. It's just that, I mean, then you go into the characters, like say, Miles Morales... we're going to talk about it
next section. About it a little bit more in next.
But obviously, Miles Morales in this film, I knew about him in the comics, and hell, I want that suit he has in that film. It's on my list eventually for Spider. I want a Miles Morales suit.
It's a really nice suit
because it's cool.
It's a good colour scheme.
Yeah, and then you got obviously go through a list. You got Peter Parker. Voiced by Jack Johnson, I think it is.
And you've got the other Peter Parker, voiced by Chris Pine.
Chris Pine, who's the Spider-Man that gets killed, which made me very upset.
Oh yeah, sorry, spoilers.
Spoilers. Again, we're gonna have them anyway throughout before we talk about each section.
Oh, you're gonna give me so much editing to do.
Yeah, just they kill off a Spider-Man, which I didn't want them to do, but I mean,
that came as a real big shock.
Yeah, definitely.
You just killed Spider-Man.
You just killed Spider-Man.
First, like.
10 minutes, maybe less.
10 minutes.
It's got.
Well, first 10. I'd say 20 minutes.
20 minutes, maybe. Yeah.
20 minutes.
Yeah. The film just flew by. God,
it was so
flew by. But the only bad thing is it wasn't long enough. But
it ended.
Yeah, they kill Spidey, Chris Pine.
Chris Pine, Spider-Man.
And then obviously Miles Morales comes in, but just the visual designs of the different characters. Kingpin,
weird.
He's big.
He's like a sofa with a tiny head.
Yeah.
He's like if Spider-Man was Kingpin's head and the sofa was his body. That is the Kingpin design.
Yeah. So it was cool to see Kingpin, and the
they gave him really good character motivation as well.
It wasn't just him being evil. He had a motivation of what he was doing, even though that it was for all he was doing it in all the wrong ways.
Yeah,
you kind of felt a bit sorry for him. Yeah, you felt sorry for him that he wasn't really doing it for evil ways. He just wanted to see his family again, even though he's still as a villain. So, yeah, you got the original, basically the original Peter Parker from our Earth come in, and just the opening scene when he comes in, and just the callbacks to the Raimi films. Oh,
that's the thing. This film, it knows. It's very aware of the past of Spider-Man. This is a film that is in no way linked to any other Spider-Man film. It's got inspiration taken from the Spider-Verse comics, but it's not linked to Raimi Spider-Man, Amazing Spider-Man, any of the MCU stuff whatsoever. It is very it's its own thing. But as we know, the great Raimi references from Peter B. Parker of our Earth, stopping the train, the bit where in Spider-Man 2 Doc Ock throws the car through the diner window.
Punches it back.
In this one, just turns around and punches the car straight back, which is quite funny.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure. Obviously, it still is the Spider-Man that obviously is referencing Raimi. I mean, the one in the Miles universe does the Christmas album.
He does, and I just remembered that he did the Spider-Man 3 dance.
He did do the Spider-Man 3 dance.
He comes out of a shop and he's like, we had some movies, some we don't talk about, and he came out of the shop and he did that. Anyone who's seen Spider-Man 3 immediately cringed and laughed.
But they basically had they made fun of that, but then they also had their own little one with the Spider-Man Christmas album as well, because it's self-aware of what it's taking a piss out of.
It's so funny. Have you actually listened to the full song?
It's played at the end of the credits, didn't it?
Yeah, it starts off with a Christmas song, and at the end it's like, it's like, why am I doing this? I have PhD. And it just like devolves into just like self-loathing in the end. It's humour is on point. Its characters are on point. Again, it does the thing of it can be funny and entertaining, but we are going to have those emotional moments that hit you hard. We've got Death of Peter Parker is the first one, which kicks off the whole premise of the film is anyone can be Spider-Man, anyone can be behind the mask, you can be a hero, you just got to stand up for yourself and for everybody else kind of thing. And the Stan Lee cameo,
the
Stan Lee cameo was beautiful.
It was really good,
and they did a tribute to him at the end. Because this really was his last cameo he did before he died. I know he's pre-filmed some other ones. But I remember in an interview them saying Stan Lee, unfortunately, did not get to see this film finished because he passed away just before it got finished. So their little tribute to him was done beautifully. Again, that makes us biased because, it tugs at the heartstrings, it really does, but they do him in a way that helps the film's main premise. Now I've talked enough, you can go now.
To carry on with the characters, obviously, Peter Parker. You see Gwen Stacy, which is awesome. I'm just trying to think if she's been in any cartoons. I'm pretty sure she. Again, unfortunately, I haven't caught up with the cartoons. I know they've had comic books with Gwen in them, but it was awesome. I knew about Spider-Gwen, so it was really awesome to see her in it. And each character's introduced. Miles Morales learns something from them, but then he also teaches them something as well. So obviously you get Penny Parker and the awesome mech that Penny Parker has.
Has that won you over now?
Huh?
Has that won you over?
I do like It's won you over. I didn't like it at first because of the whole anime kind of style thing. I thought it was just a bit strange, but then you got Peter Parker, and I love Peter Parker.
The strangest thing in that film is not a spider mech. It's a spider that got bit by a radioactive pig. And
Peter Parker. So Peter Parker probably has some of the best bits in the film.
He is actually a Looney Tune. He's got every single character has their own animation style to represent their universe, and his is legit Looney Tune animation.
They even have the joke of That's all, folks. And he's like, can he legally say that?
Legally say that?
Yes.
So they're very self-aware.
So good. So
it's done
Peter
so well.
Porker, and obviously, I think one of our favourites definitely is Nicolas Cage as Spider-Man Noir.
That was the best thing. That was the best thing when I realised it was Nick Cage as
Nick
Spider-Man
Cage.
Noir.
How does the wind blow in here? Wherever I go, the
We're in
wind
a basement.
follows. We're in a basement.
We're in a basement. Why is there wind? It's
Wind.
just, he's the only one where his stuff is flapping in the wind.
He's he just. It's just so good. This is probably gonna be longer than Last Jedi section because we can just go. Hey fellas, wherever I go, the wind follows, and the wind smells like rain. It's just great humour. Characters. Each character Miles learns from, and Miles teaches them something. Whether it's Peter Parker's problems of I can start a family, and then he's like becomes basically a father figure to. Almost a father figure, mentor, definitely a mentor thing to Miles, and then he goes back to his own universe that he can progress it with his life. Gwen starts trusting people and opening up. Obviously, she said she never has friends, then opens up to Miles as a friend. So just like Noir, obviously, some bits are funny. Like Noir brings back the cube where he learns, and he learns about like kind of like not being so dark and broody and just...
For anyone who doesn't know, obviously, right, we've got the different Spider-Men. So you've got Miles Morales' universe, Peter Parker, who's like the perfect Peter Parker. Peter B. Parker is the Peter who's been Spider-Man for so many years, but his life is failing, and he's just kind of given up, sort of at this point. Then obviously you got Miles Morales, who's the whole film centered around the young new Spider-Man. Spider-Gwen, she's like a rocker sort of chick.
Punk rock.
Her best friend was Peter Parker in her universe, that Peter Parker became the Lizard, and she was kind of been dealing with that, and her dad not trusting Spider-Girl, and not knowing that his daughter was Spider-Girl for a long time. And Spider-Ham, like we said, Spider-Girl being my radioactive pig, does have his own comic series, and has been in the cartoons. It's very strange, don't ask me who came up with it. I don't know. And we got Spider, or however it's the way it's spelled. It's just a girl with a mech, and it's her father's. Was it like conscience
Soul
or something inside of a spider?
Yeah, something.
It's very weird.
It's a very weird one. I mean, not all. Like I say, Miles learns something from each character, and Miles gives back. But sometimes, especially I think in the case with Penny Parker and the mech and Spider. Ham, they definitely teach Miles something, but I don't think it comes back to...
No, they are more the comic relief.
Yeah, those are more the comic relief, and maybe even a little bit of Spider-Man Noir. It mainly focuses on Gwen and Peter Parker being the kind of the... He teaches them something, they teach Miles something, so...
Yeah, Spider-Man Noir is from like the 1930s,
yeah,
and so his world is black and white.
Yeah.
He doesn't know what colour is.
Yeah.
Which is quite funny. So he punches Nazis and like shoots people and stuff. He's that kind of Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And so he comes into this world, and there's just a great shot of him on the sofa holding a Rubik's Cube going, I don't understand this. And he brings it back to the black and white world at the end of the movie, and like puts it on show for everybody to go, oh my god, look, it's a cube of colour.
Yeah.
It's just... The fact that it's Nicolas Cage doing that makes it just so much better. Yeah,
which then, a little funny thing that we kind of discovered is, with The Sorcerer's Apprentice, it's basically Doc Ock versus Spider-Man.
So yeah, I love Sorcerer's Apprentice, because Alfred Molina is one of my favourite actors, and he plays a really good villain in it. He is Maxim Horvath. Alfred Molina played Doc Ock in Spider-Man 2. Nicolas Cage was the good wizard sorcerer in that film. Now Nicolas Cage is Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Sorcerer's Apprentice is Spider-Man Noir versus Dr. Octopus.
Which is a good tangent to other characters in this Spider-Man Into Spider-Verse, which is basically the reimaginings of some villains. So you actually have Green Goblin, who's a massive goblin creature with wings. He's big.
He's taken from, I'm guessing, because he looks pretty much very similar to it, the inspiration from the original 2002 Ultimate Comics, where the Green Goblin is just literally a massive, hench, muscular, murderous goblin. Like, at the end of that comic line, he kills Peter Parker.
Jeez.
At the very end. Well, Peter Parker thinks that he's killed him, but Peter Parker ends up just dying in the street because he can't hold on any longer. He's got like bullet wounds and all sorts going on. The final fight with Goblin just killed him off. So that's really cool to have that throwback from those Ultimate comics in a side character. Goblin's only in it at the beginning.
Yeah, he's only at the beginning.
That's it. For a major Spider-Man villain, that's all you get.
Yeah, then that's, And then, obviously you got a female version of said person, Doc Ock.
Olivia
Octavius. Yeah, with the inflatable
tentacles. That sounds very wrong.
It does.
But honestly, it looks
cool.
She's like a kind of hippie kind of lady.
Yeah, she is hippie kind of.
In this film, again, she's been done differently in comics before. But no, I kind of like this.
Yeah,
one.
I liked it as well because I kind of looked at you because obviously Ox your man. So and I looked at the boss and I was just like, it's Doc Ock, and it's like, I've seen that design before, but
yeah, it's cool.
So Scorpion's an actual scorpion.
Scorpion's a big old scorpion.
I think it's first time I'd never heard of is it Prowler before. It was cool, and
his soundtrack is very good as well.
The screeching as well was quite for a kids film. There's some scary old sound effects.
There's some freaky bits in this film.
So his design, and obviously it's good that that universe is his uncle is an actual villain.
Miles Morales' uncle is the Prowler.
Is the Prowler, and he dies.
Kingpin shoots him because the Prowler's about to kill this new young Spider-Man that he doesn't know because he's hanging around with all these other Spider-Men. It's just a target to him, but Miles already accidentally walked in on his uncle in the Prowler costume, so he knows it's him. So Miles takes off the mask, and his uncle sees, oh my god, I've nearly just killed my nephew. Kingpin is down on the ground because they're on a roof, and is like, kill him. And he hesitates, so Kingpin shoots Prowler. So now Miles carries his uncle's body into this alley. And you do get a really emotional scene of having Miles having to deal with his uncle, who he really is very attached to in this film.
Respects and attached to, looks up to.
And then he's got his heart broken, realizing he was a villain. Yeah. Then fighting him, then watching him die. It was a very touching scene.
Yeah, it was good. It was well done. And I think you do. I forget because we only watched it once. We kind of.
Yeah, we were going to watch it again, but guess what? Someone made me ill again.
Yeah. So, yes, so we're going to watch it again, but you definitely do get almost a kind of, with great power comes great responsibility kind of thing with that whole moment of do the right thing kind of thing, speech, I think, from his uncle. And obviously his dad, also Miles' dad being a police officer, you kind of get that as well. And he's against Spider-Man in the universe as well.
Until right at the end,
where he's cheering
which is quite nice.
So, so character-wise, heroes and villains just top-notch.
Fantastic.
As well.
Again, it's the case of you've got a load of characters in this film, but the way they're introduced and the way they're done, it doesn't feel like they're rushed. It doesn't feel like they're forced in. Again, some of the villains are literally only there for like a scene, but they're very noticeable. They're very recognisable Spider-Man villains. Like the main one is Kingpin, and the other ones, apart from Prowler and Octavius, are there only for like a little bit.
I think Tombstone is there for a tiny bit as well. But again, going back to you can have multiple villains in films as long as they're done right. This film is where it's done right.
You don't need all their origin stories in one go.
Yeah, you literally have one main villain who arguably is Kingpin. Two. But no, I would say one. Kingpin is obviously the main focus, and then it's probably Prowler, and then that's it. Yeah. So the rest of them are literally, you probably have to go back if you don't know Spider-Man that well. Then
you might get like a tiny bit lost in some sections, but I think
with Doc Ock and stuff. But
I think if you're a newbie, it'll be really interesting to see like someone who's never really seen Spider-Man before. Yeah. And so I'm quite interested to I know my parents have watched Spider-Man before, but they're not into it like I am. And my dad has trouble keeping up with films at the best of times, so I kind of want him to watch Spider-Verse and just wait till he goes, wait, hang on a second, why? It's like, no, Dad, universes are colliding, that kind of thing.
And I've heard some people as well say that they're not big into Spider-Man, but they've seen Into Spider-Verse and now they're a massive fan because of that film. So
it's just, it's a great starter film, I think. Maybe not starter, but if you just want, you can just jump into. It's just fun. That's the main thing. It's fun. It's exciting. It's different. It's creative. It's not tied to anything else that it doesn't want to be tied to. It's not canon. Everything Star Wars does nowadays has to be canon. From the novels to the TV shows to the films. If it's made, it's part of the lore. With Spider-Man, if it's made, he can be part of the main lore. It can be part of something else. It can start something else entirely new. But I think that's the beauty of comic books, because there are so many paths that comic books go on, so many reboots. It just doesn't have that. You need to stay in that box. You don't have to, and I think that's why Spider-Man is doing so well currently. It doesn't have to fit in a box. It can go wherever it wants.
No. That's funny, because just reading off our notes again for what we can actually say, and that pretty much Boss just said it. Like, Star Wars is very restricted in what it can do, and this film, for example, is literally free to do what it wants, to be its own thing, and it has one little sequel hook, which is right at the end of the credits.
Right at the very end.
Doesn't put it in the film, where you get a small tease that Spider-Man 2099.
Oh, no, there is one before the credits, though. The portal opens back up above Miles' bed, and Spider-Man.
Oh yeah, Spider-Gwen talks to him. Of course, of course she does.
That's it. Like, that is literally it.
That little bit, and then one right at the end of the film where it's
the best,
the best post-credit scene.
I could not stop laughing.
It was so good. Memes.
So basically, you know that meme of the '60s Spider-Man, where they're standing pointing at each other. It's, well, you can explain it because it's hilarious and people need to hear it without a dodgy voice. So
the whole thing starts with basically the sequel hook is something could happen with Spider-Man 2099. Basically a version of Spider-Man way off into the future. Some time travel is going to be involved, it seems, if they do a sequel. So what happens is he has to bring all the Spider-Men together. So he starts with Spider-Man, what is it, 1966 or something along those lines. So he drops in to that meme where it's a Spider-Man pointing to each other, and
from the old 60s
cartoon, and Spider-Man 2099 is one of the Spider-Mans pointing, and it's literally just a back and forth of "Don't point at me, it's rude." And it just goes on for a good minute until it just slowly fades out, and it probably is
the whole cinema
was just an
the smart people that stayed.
Yeah, most of them got up and left. It's like, do you not understand Marvel films?
I know this is an animated movie, but this is still a Marvel film. Sit down.
Yeah. So, and just, it was just laughter from the rest of them as they stayed. And it was just...
That was my favourite bit of the whole movie. I love all of it, but just that after credit scene, that tickled me.
It was very, very amusing. So, yeah, one kind of minor... Two minor sequel hooks. And yeah, it makes me very excited for what they could do with the sequel, which is it has a lot of potential. A lot of potential. Yeah. What more to say? Really, Spider-Man in Spider-Verse is probably the greatest Spider-Man film.
Honestly, that's the one of the few films that I can look at and say like literally 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
10 out. I mean, we've only seen it once, so we can't majorly comment on it because, like, you know, things will change over different viewings. But honestly, from that first watch, it's never really been love at first sight like that before. I don't think, apart from Rogue One.
Rogue One,
Rogue One and Spider-Verse, like immediate.
Just Spider-Man is doing just so well, and it seems on all fronts. Obviously, we mentioned the other stuff next, but just. Yeah, it is. That's the new bar now. That is the Rogue One for Spider-Man film. The Spider-Man in Spider-Verse is going to be up there now for any animated Spider-Man film that comes out.
Definitely.
So, yeah, I mean, that's how you do it. That's how you do it. So now moving on to completely different genre now, and that is video games. And might as well go with the flow in this one. And keep with the theme of awesome Spider-Man stuff, and that's PS4 Spider-Man, or Spider-Man PS4.
Marvel Spider-Man PS4.
Yes, and like I kind of mentioned in Spider-Verse, it's the second time in the space
about 3 months
Yeah.
between the release of Spider-Man PS4 and Spider-Verse.
Yeah, we see Miles Morales and a totally different Miles
A
Morales.
totally different origin
Each
story for the
one.
same character.
Yeah.
You'd never get that with
No.
Star Wars.
No. And that's just awesome because we get to see him in an animated film now, and we get to see him in a video game, and that's a new one that's definitely going to be introduced in future games because they're not just going to stop with this one.
Oh no!
I'm pretty sure they've said that a sequel's in development for Spider-Man PS4, and it's very, very exciting as well what they could do for a sequel, and terrifying because obviously you know what kind of Miles Morales' story is and what happens to this particular Spider-Man, so we'll see how they handle that, whether they're going to break our hearts or give us a nice happy kind of conclusion to Peter Parker. But probably from what you can tell so far, we both love this game very, very much.
I didn't think anything would top Spider-Man 2 for me. Again,
Oh.
film-wise and video game-wise. I don't play a huge amount of games anymore. I used to do a lot more in my youth. But Spider-Man 2 was always one of my favourites just because it's a very overused term. But it was one of the first games that made you feel like Spider-Man.
The web swinging was awesome.
The web swinging is momentum and physics based. So it was, you got just a big New York City to run around, do crimes. It very loosely followed the plot of the film. And you got extra villains like Mysterio and Shocker in there too. Just to pad out the gameplay, because obviously most of Spider-Man 2, most of the film, Peter Parker goes around with no powers. So it's kind of hard to make a game around that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you actually have... I know if you're not a gamer, this probably means nothing to you, but web is that when you shoot a web, it attaches to a building, you have momentum, you're like a pendulum swinging, you can increase your speed, you can do tricks, wall run. It takes a little while to master it, but eventually I got really good at it, and it was just... I still play it now.
Yeah, so we completed it. We still play it because it's just so much fun just to swing through the city.
And for years, like literally, that game was 2004 that came out. All the years after that, we had a couple games that did it, like very similar, like Spider-Man 3, which just wasn't a very good game, and Ultimate Spider-Man. But after that, none of the other Spider-Man games did that web swinging.
No.
Even though everybody was saying, why don't you have that web swinging if you're in an open world?
Yeah.
Only now, over 10 years later, have we got a game with good web swinging like that in a really good world.
Yeah.
So that was like point number one for me. If the web swinging's right, I will get the game. And they got it right.
And it was completely right. And I mean, and the great thing about it is like, pretty much like Spider-Verse, it isn't tied down to anything. It's like its own thing. So it's not related to, obviously, Spider-Verse, not MCU. And it's not a movie tie-in, so it pretty much can do what it wants with the story, and it has a great story.
Fantastic story.
So
I'm very surprised how good. Everyone said, "Oh, single player is dead." Single player is not dead. Look at God of War. Look at the couple of Resident Evils that have come out recently.
boy.
Wait, hold on. Boy.
Yeah, it kind of works.
Boy.
Yeah, we've got a War, Resident Evil 2. I can't wait for that one as well. That is how you do a remake, so I'm very looking forward to that one on a side note. But this story, yeah, I mean, you had, again, you can even do it in video games forms. That if you have multiple villains, main villains, that's how you handle them.
This game has the Sinister Six in it.
Yeah, it has Sinister Six. And how many other stories do you see?
So you've got the Sinister Six as your 6 main villains, plus Kingpin at the very beginning of the game. So you've got 7. You've got a couple of other side characters and a couple of other side villains just sort of trotted around. So you've got about 10, 11 different villains going on. But just say for the main villains, you've got 7. The only origin stories we see are 2, which are Mr. Negative and, so hyped I was, Dr. Octopus. They purposely hid a character from us in the E3 demo. And so we knew there was going to be someone new that they hadn't shown us before. Should have been obvious it was Doc Ock, because in the comics he is the original head of the Sinister Six. But I wasn't expecting that. We thinking it might have been Mysterio because possible tie-in to Far From Home.
Yeah.
But it's not a movie tie-in. I just thought it might take inspiration from it.
Yeah.
But because you came over before I got the game before Matt, and you came over for a weekend and you played it. And you know, the beginning of the game puts you right in. You've got a fight with Kingpin. You arrest Kingpin, which kickstarts the whole of the plot. He is the Kingpin of crime, and putting him away means crime in the city goes nuts. New supervillains rise, small gangs rise, all that stuff. So, you know, it fits well with a game where you've got to go around bashing people, because otherwise it would just be like, wow, New York really needs to get their under control, because there's just too much of it going on. But, so yeah, after that mission, literally the next mission, you get a call from your work, and you went me across that. I was like, dude, if you play any further than this, you will find out who that mystery secret villain is, even though it's really early on in the game, so it's not a huge spoiler. The look on your face was the same as mine. It's the first scene when you go in and Otto Octavius is there. He's not evil at this point. He's just the scientist, and he's silhouetted with a load of pipes and stuff behind him, and makes it look like his tentacles. And then both of us just went,
"It's Doc Ock!"
I can't tell you how excited I was, because he's my favourite. I wasn't expecting him in there.
No.
And again, wasn't expecting a character to be written in a manner that would rival my favourite version of Doc Ock, which admittedly, yes, it's very similar, because they do it as a very sympathetic character at the beginning who over time turns and changes at a slower rate than they did in the film, because obviously a 2-hour film versus like a 9-hour game. But you know, by the end of that game I was super excited for him to turn into Dr. Octopus. Also really sad because I loved him as just Otto Octavius.
Yeah, as you said, he's a really sympathetic character. Although again, the second time playing it, it's a game you got to play a second time round, because
I have this thing, right, of I tend to rush through the story missions because I just like getting my story. I'm like, oh, I really want to find out what happens next. So I tend not to do a lot of side missions. And a lot of information surrounding Otto is kind of dotted about his lab and kind of hidden around his lab. On the first playthrough, I missed most of it, and so for me, looking at the story, I'm just looking at it like, oh no, it's like the neural inhibitor. It's affected his mind. That's what's turned him evil. Even though he has this hatred to Norman Osborn, who's in this game as well, but not as Green Goblin, and that's what's turned him into the bad guy. But watching it on the playthrough the second time, has he literally been planning it under my nose all along? You find bits hidden in his lab after he gets a little bit desperate for funding for every single member of the Sinister Six. There's 2 files which are being 3D printed in his lab. One is part of Electro's suit. One is part of Rhino's suit, which I couldn't identify until I saw that bit of Rhino's suit in his other lair, and I freaked out and I sent you a message. Yeah. Oh my god, I figured out what it was.
Yeah.
Jet propulsion engine for Vulture. Hypodermic needle for Scorpion. So yeah, that's 4, and the 5th one is Mr. Negative, which Otto doesn't have any involvement with, as we know at that time, because he's currently in the raft. But yeah, and I was just like, I don't know if he's been a bad guy this whole time, so I feel heartbroken.
Yeah. So
I don't know what's going on now.
It's one of those games where you definitely multiple playthroughs, or just like two times again, spot stuff like that. So, and the Easter eggs throughout. I mean, mention Norman Osborn. You see references to potential Green Goblin.
Potential Green
with
Goblin.
a mask,
and
there's pumpkin bombs, like pretty much like Sam Raimi's kind of pumpkin bombs with the Green Goblin with that.
A little bit.
And the big one for me
was it the end credits?
Right at the end of the screen, where we might have some form of venom, and it might be someone. It might be Harry Osborn.
It was hidden in plain sight.
Yeah.
Both me and you noticed it on our playthroughs. In a certain hidden room, there's a certain big crate with no interaction options available. It's like, that's pretty big and taking up a lot of space and looks kind of weird.
Yeah.
We wonder if there's anything in there.
Yeah.
And then obviously I completed the game before you did.
Yeah.
And I was like, whatever you do, watch till the end of the credits. And he sent me a voice message going, oh, what is this? Opens up, oh my god, is that Venom? Oh my god, is that Venom?
Pretty much was that.
That was so exciting.
Yeah. So a great fan service, great Easter eggs.
Pizza theme.
That's
my favourite one out of all of them.
Venom's probably mine, because again, Venom is one of my favourite anti-heroes.
Mine's just stupid.
So just that, just the web mechanics, the combat. There's so many ways you can defeat enemies and upgrades. No microtransactions in this game.
Not at all. Guess what they have? Upgrades you can get in the game just by playing through the game normally, and free. Can I just say, free suits. For everyone was asking for the Raimi costume. My personal favourite. A lot of other people's favourites. Christmas time. What did Insomniac do? Free holiday update for the game. Gave everybody a brand new suit, which is what I'm currently doing my other playthrough on, just to get cool pictures.
Sam Raimi. And just, and the DLC, you probably get about, first, it's £25, so you can check what that is in dollars.
3 DLCs, isn't it?
3 DLCs, 9 hours of Retro Story across 3 DLC packs. And really, for that price, I think it's worth it. And you get 3 suits, and with each pack as well. And some of those suits in those in that DLC are really, really cool.
Spider armor.
Spider armor. Yeah, I used to have that toy back in the 90s, so that was really nice to see. The Scarlet Spider suit, the red and black, is really nice.
There's some weird ones in there too.
There are some weird ones in there.
Cool.
Yeah, there's really cool ones as well. And you get the Iron Spider, the proper comic book Iron Spider as well, and the MCU. Yes. So it's just littered with that's how you do a single player game, and especially a Spider-Man game. So many suits, multiple ways to dispatch enemies. I mean,
the other combat. Everyone says, it's Arkham combat. It's Spider-Man 2. Again, it had this kind of dodge counter-attack combat before Arkham ever did it. Arkham took that and made it a lot better. Yeah. And then games took what Arkham did. But Spider-Man, again, it does have Arkham-like combat, but it's very Spider-Man.
But it's
a lot of, you do a lot of web stuff, you do a lot of aerial combos. It isn't just Arkham combat, it is completely reworked for Spider-Man.
Unfortunately, with combat like that, it is going to get compared to Arkham.
I don't think you can really get away with that.
No, you can't. So, like, everything now with that is pretty much the path for video games. If it has that combat, it's Batman Arkham combat. I mean, I remember that going around for Shadow of Mordor. That was okay, it's just Arkham combat, but you can't escape it. He's got a bloody good combat system in the Batman games. It's got a very good combat system. So, and people want to kind of just work off that, and not just copy and paste it. So yeah, combat's amazing, story is brilliant, and it's probably got the best video game version we've got of Peter Parker and Spider-Man, I think.
Definitely, you do spend a lot of time as just Peter Parker, going around talking to his Aunt May, getting to know Miles Morales as Peter Parker outside of the suit. Obviously he goes, there's lots of history between him and Mary Jane. We should talk about the Mary Jane and Miles missions. Probably the only thing that really lets the game down.
Yeah, I mean,
apart from a few other side tasks.
I liked one. For Miles's mission where the bomb happens, I thought that was, you needed to play that as Miles to kind of really understand, obviously, what was the situation, and basically just how powerless you are. Because when you're Spidey, you're like, dispatch these enemies. But yeah, that's
the one where that's also related to his father. What happens then when the bomb goes off? His father dies. Yeah. So it's his son going in to try and save his dad and fighting off the demons as he does it. Yeah. So, and you're like, oh my god, I'm so powerless and weedy, and it's touching moment. And it's got a lot of this game, which we mentioned another one that's towards the end of the film that made us both cry. That's a brave old thing they did as well with that one. But the Miles Morales mission, that needs to be played. I think to kind of for that. His one with the Rhino I thought was quite fun.
I like that as one as well, because I get why people didn't like it, because they just wanted to be Spidey. The Mary Jane ones, I get that with the Mary Jane ones.
The Mary Jane ones were a bit dull.
Except for the museum one, that was good. I like that one.
The museum one, and I think Grand Central.
There's a Grand Central, sorry. The Grand Central one, sorry.
The museum one was nice just to see little bits. Yeah. Because it didn't take you long to get back as playing as Spider-Man in that one, and then Grand Central Terminal where you use Spider-Man as a weapon is quite fun.
That was cool. But mainly the Grand Central one, and then the museum, because it was cool to see, just have look-see, play as Mary Jane. I get why people have an issue with it, but it was just another way to change up the game. It wasn't like little bits, of course.
It slows down the pace quite a lot. I think that's people's problems.
Yeah, it slows down the pace. I mean, the world isn't as going back to the open world. There's a lot of stuff to do in it, but it's not so overcrowded like your Assassin's Creed. There are radio towers, unfortunately.
They're not that bad.
But they're not that bad.
They have a purpose.
They have a purpose, and it leads to it's been a mission itself right at the end. I believe you kind of do get something out of it as well when you do all the radio towers.
Yeah, it's just it puts more crimes on your radar, basically.
But you got your side quests, and there's some side villains. It's just good. It's not really problem. It could be worse. Put it that way. It is. Yeah. The one thing that I don't like is the taskmaster challenges where you have to do like a time limit drone chase. Those really ones pissed me off, and I'm just thankful that the game didn't punish you for doing crap. As long as you finish those challenges,
they count as complete.
They're count as complete, and you wouldn't have to get a gold to beat.
You don't have to get a gold for 100%.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, 100% the game, or you have to keep doing it to get a perfect score to get like the true side mission ending for that person or whatever. So I appreciate the game not kind of going, no, you got to get gold and every single one's at 100% and do it, complete it that way. So yeah, there is some busy work, but it could be worse. It's not on the level of Assassin's Creed where you open the map and literally every block is covered in everything. So you got random crimes, you got other villains. Cue Ball, I'd never heard of Cue Ball, but it's before that game. She's a new villain. She's a
new one, I think, 2012 Screwball game.
Yeah, so fair enough. I was kind of hoping. But I would say I was kind of hoping for like the likes of Mysterio or Goblin or
Mysterio's reference.
Mysterio's reference, but I'd rather have him as a main villain and like Venom or Carnage or whatever they do. So and
still a sequel.
Yeah, so the sequel they got so much potential to do. So yeah, open world could be worse, but it's nice that they had stuff. The city feels alive, definitely.
The level of detail.
Yeah,
is insane.
It's mental. Photo mode.
Photo mode is great also. A cosplayer's greatest asset.
Yeah.
To zoom in and see all the details and just, I do like taking pretty pictures in game, I must say.
Think most of the evenings I've had have just been in photo mode.
Yeah, there's a reason my second playthrough is still not complete. Because I end up in a fight or just swinging through the city and all that looks good. Go into photo mode, get the right angle, change the focus, get a filter going, make it look really cool. And then next thing I know, it's midnight.
Yeah.
I need to go to bed. I didn't do any story missions. No. Oh, whoops.
So it's just get that as the photo mode is so much fun to play around with, and obviously each suit has got just the detail in the game. Even if you have a standard PS4, it is absolutely crazy.
You don't need a PS4 Pro.
You don't need a PS4 Pro for this game.
It runs beautifully on a standard PS4.
So just. Yeah, it's pretty outstanding, that photo mode. You can just have hours and hours of fun with it. So again, there's not really any negatives to the game. Just a few nitpicks.
The Mary Jane missions are a little bit of a slowdown, a bit too much on occasion.
Yeah, and
some of the side quests can be very tedious.
Yeah, tediously towards the end is like, okay now, because like, you have your street crimes and then the demons, and then you get another faction that comes in, Sabre comes in, so that Sable.
And then you've got inmates from Rikers
and the Rikers, so those are very copy paste. So it's like okay, this is getting a bit. They could have mixed this up a little bit, and then.
But I can see. The main focus and the main attention went on to the single player story. You don't need to do the side missions.
No.
If you don't want 100%, all you get from 100% is a new suit, which is the Spidey undies. So if you really want to play as that, which I kind of do, then that's what you get the 100% for. If you just want to do the story, then you don't have to do that. You just play through the story. And
indeed,
I've always wanted a high-res remake of Spider-Man 2 on PS2, even though I know you wouldn't get that because it's a movie tie-in. I think this is the closest I'm ever going to get, and I must say I am in love.
It's a great game, and before we forget about it, he probably has one of the best JJs.
J. Jonah Jameson.
Probably, like...
He has his own podcast. It's amazing.
He's so good. He's so funny. I have to. You have to stop what you're doing to make sure you.
Do.
You have to stop and just listen, because it is literally.
Yeah, because if you go in a cutscene, it cuts off.
Yeah, it cuts off. And
it's like, no, I need to hear JJ be really cynical about me.
It's just like. I think hopefully the same voice actor comes back and does the sequel, because it basically is like it's basically just J.K. Simmons, but just in like it's close as you can get to like his kind of it's so good.
I just love him shouting at his intern all the time.
Yeah, shouting his intern.
Jared,
he's one of the best.
Fire yourself after the commercial break and then rehire yourself.
But that's probably one of the best parts of going through the city. You hear the podcast, and even like it even refers to some of the suits you wear sometimes, and even
if you wear Spider-Punk,
Spider-Punk.
He comments on it saying, "God, like I didn't like punk. Spider-Man's rebelling against the system. He's a criminal." I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah, it's just, and even some bits where he does speak truth. Like even when in some serious story moments, he does say that. He kind of chips in and basically kind of gives like, wow, he actually is right on that point, but he's still like the main comic relief and the best thing to hear while swinging through the city open world.
They have an option to unsubscribe from it. Why would you ever want to do that?
It's
wonderful.
No, it's just J.K. Simmons is awesome in the films, and then this JJ is just he's awesome. It's so funny.
He's amazing.
So funny. And then the last bit I mentioned that both made us cry, and it's got balls, the buddy, I think, to do it.
If you really don't want to hear this bit, because this is literally at the very end of the game.
Yeah.
And close your ears now.
Well, again, spoiler. You know spoilers this bit, but yeah.
When I do this, it means the spoiler is over.
Yeah. So they kill Aunt May.
Aunt May dies.
And that was tough, because
that was very tough.
I think he said that she dies in some comic books, but
in a couple of story comic books she has died, but to do it in this manner when we spent so long with her in the game, it's like you've just lost someone close to you.
It's like no.
I warned him. I said literally just the end of the game will hurt. Just be prepared.
Yeah, because I was worried that
you thought they were going to kill people.
Because Miles Morales, obviously, what happens. He gets bit by a spider. Where a part of a Mary Jane mission, she somehow, buddy, carries a spider to like the shelter where Miles Morales is working, which Aunt May runs. Gets bitten by the spider. So I think, oh crap, they're gonna kill Peter Parker, because that's Miles Morales' story. Peter Parker isn't in that universe, or he's going to die for Miles to take over. So I thought, oh my god, they're going to basically kill Peter Parker, so Miles Morales is basically who you play at the end of the game or to the next game. But no, that's probably going to happen in the next game, or hopefully again.
He might just retire.
Hopefully Peter retires. That's my dream ending. I don't want anyone to die, please. But yeah, I thought they had the balls, and they kill off Aunt May. It's really
horrible.
It's horrible,
especially for me as well, because it follows on from your final boss fight with Doc Ock, who character I'm in love with. I think he's amazing, and at the end you beat him, and I think he feigns going back to the way he was. Like, you promised you'd never abandon me. We can fix me together, Peter, and he's just like begging you, and I felt so bad for him, and Peter in the game does as well, is that he nearly wins him back over until he says, if you help me, your secret will be safe with me. And then Peter walks off, and Otto's just crying his name in the background. And with that fight, because at this point in the game, Otto released what's called Devil's Breath, which is a whole thing that this plot of the game revolves around, which is he was trying to develop a cure for his son Harry, which is why Harry is in this big container filled with venom. But in its current state, it's essentially a big bioweapon. So Otto releases it with the idea to blame Norman Osborn, because Norman developed it, to try and ruin Norman Osborn, and it just infects everybody, because it passes from person to person. And so the last final fight with Otto is Peter getting the anti-serum for it. But at this point we know Aunt May's already contracted the virus, and it's like the last fight is so tense, because it's like you want to get it done as quickly as possible, because she's literally on death's door. and at the end they say, you know, it will take us a few hours to manufacture a large dose of the anti-serum from this one vial, or you save Aunt May with it. You either save Aunt May or you save the whole city. So Spider-Man has the ability to save his aunt, and he has to sit there and watch her die.
Yeah.
That, following on from feeling so bad about Doc Ock, I was actually sitting in here in tears, and I know you were sitting at home in tears as well.
Oh god, but it's what?
I haven't cried like that at a game in a long time.
Yeah, it just goes straight back to the Spidey thing. With great power comes a great responsibility. So, yeah, just that's how you do a Spider-Man game.
Yeah.
I mean, and just yeah, that was tough, and I thought they had balls to kind of do that, and then it makes me scared for what they're going to do in the future, because they could go even further and go, yeah, we're going to kill off Spider-Man, and just, but I'll be surprised if they do, but
I wouldn't put it past them.
I wouldn't put it past them now, but yeah, it was a game that had great humour, touching moments, great action, fights and mechanics.
What is it over? Come back.
Yeah, it's definitely, if you're a Spider-Man fan, get that game.
Definitely. I'm just hoping they go a little bit down a superior Spider-Man route for the next one.
Yeah, I know you're rooting for that one.
Mind you, I did look at that little bit. That was kind of like my only evidence for it, and I have a feeling I was wrong, but still kind of want it to happen.
But yeah, we can hope that the sequels are going to be, well, they've got the good formula now.
Dan Slott is part of the writing team, and I have every faith in him. His writing is what got me back into the Spider-Man comics.
So, yeah, so we are looking forward to Spider-Man sequel stuff with video games now as well.
So good.
So, which probably is now going to bring us to more anger rants with a small glimmer of hope.
Oh no, my hope is dead.
But
I got no hope left.
My hope is dead, but there's this tiny small glimmer of hope for me, possibly, but unfortunately, the way things are going on the Star Wars point of view, I think we can both say with good kind of, well, let's start again. I think we can both say, EA.
EA.
Yeah. And that they should, as our dear Jim Sterling says, thank God for him, they should be stripped of the Star Wars license. But for some reason today we had
breaking news.
Yes, we have breaking news from today. Apparently Disney are very happy at the moment with what EA have been doing with the license.
Because Disney themselves have said, well, we're not very good at doing games, so we're okay with EA not being that good. What? Just as a little, little bit of context, after the acquisition of Star Wars by Disney, LucasArts was essentially shut down. So all of the publishing rights for Star Wars games, which LucasArts originally owned and then licensed out to multiple companies to produce games to obviously release in the market, is now solely owned by EA, Electronic Arts, or as Jim and we know to refer to it as Unicronic Arts, because EA has been voted the worst company in America for 3 years in a row.
Yeah.
And has a reputation for being one of the worst game publishers, the most money hungry, just the most terrible ones just ever to currently exist. They buy up companies, get companies to make games that those companies do not specialise in, and because those companies do not specialise in making those particular games, those games might not do well. If that game does not do well, EA will just kill off that
company. Shut them down.
Which means hundreds of people lose their jobs. EA has there's about, I think, something like 10 different developers that they've killed off over the years. There might be a bit more, there might be a bit less, I don't know, but there's a lot.
Yeah, there is a lot.
There is a lot.
Kill count is very, very high.
Very high. So, yes, they've got the sole publishing rights, so no other publisher can produce Star Wars games. And in a recent video Jim did about why EA should lose the license, showed a picture of
Agreed.
how many games LucasArts with other developers put out in like a 6-year span. There's about 12 different games.
I said 6 is 12 or 16. There was a lot.
There was a lot of games. So you've got things like KOTOR, Jedi Academy, Bounty Hunter, Pod Racer,
Battlefront 1 and 2.
The original Battlefront 1 and 2s, Lego Star Wars. All the really good games people recognise, know and love. In the same space of time, all EA has produced are 2 incredibly subpar, very badly made Star Wars Battlefront games that have ruined the Star Wars Battlefront brand.
Yep.
You're going to take it on from here. I'm going to get too angry in a minute.
Yeah, well, Boss just said it really. They've done 2 games. Just the first Battlefront game was unfinished, rushed to make sales with The Force Awakens. They admitted that, which most of the people when they bought it was like, where is the rest of the game?
Why are there only 3 maps?
Indeed, which they said, oh, buy the season pass.
Which is an extra 50 quid on top of a 60 quid game.
Yes, so pretty much you'd had to buy the season pass to get the full game.
And pay your online subscription.
Yes.
Because there's no single player.
No. So you had that, no single player,
it's just very bare bones.
It was bare bones.
Looks beautiful.
It was very beautiful.
Sound design is amazing. Yeah. Can't fault DICE on that.
Yeah.
But I can fault them on every... Well, no, it's not really their fault, it's EA.
That's EA's fault, but just the game was just not good enough. So their response was, don't worry, Battlefront 2 will be an apology, and I'm pretty sure 9 times out of 10 of all of you watching this game knows how that little thing turned out with the loot box controversy, EA's worst comment of all time on Reddit, whether that still is the case.
The most downvoted comment
ever, that Darth Vader was locked on release, and Pride and Accomplishment was the reason why they had it locked for you to grind to unlock bloody Darth Vader in a Star Wars game.
Well, people say, oh yeah, but you got to work for it. The only reason the grind, like, yeah, you got to work to unlock stuff. But what, it was like 40 hours, something like that? 40 hours of gameplay for one character.
Yeah, someone calculated it was 40 hours to unlock Darth Vader.
Which you would say, yeah, okay, it's just to make sure you stick around and play the game. But the thing is, they made it that long because there is an option to pay to skip that.
Yeah.
They put in extra grind to essentially try and get your brain to go, oh, I'm not really enjoying this, but if I give them money, I can get what I want now.
Yeah.
Which is why... with all the loot boxes, it's literally EA making a pay-to-win system on an online game, which is not a very good idea.
Player advantages.
Player advantages and multiplayer.
Yep.
And it's got actual politicians and lawmakers involved, because it's now been brought to the attention of the mass media, not just games media, that loot boxes are actually a form of gambling, and people have gone broke. Kids are getting into gambling because of these things being implemented in game, because it's just a random chance. You give them money to get something out of a loot. You don't know what you're getting. It's gambling.
Yeah. And as Jim says it, again, we're big fans of his, because he just talks that the state of the... He knows what he's talking about with the state of the industry. And he says that the best is, if you think... oh, I'm not affected by loot boxes, so it's not a problem. Well, then you're not the target audience for them. You're not vulnerable. People that are vulnerable and have actual gambling addictions and they want to enjoy playing a Star Wars game pretty much can't, because they're forced, because tendencies might get them to spend more money. I mean, and we've got a light tap on the wrist, to be honest, and have changed it somehow, but the game is still just the...
Yeah, they took it out for a bit and then put things back in.
So it's just...
Their excuse is, it helps fund the making of a game, but then when they took loot boxes out, they said to their shareholders that it wouldn't have any monetary impact on the game whatsoever. So the shareholders would still get their millions of dollars. So
it seems like these games are just made to... just make the shareholders happy and not fans of Star Wars, and as I said, mentioned earlier, this was supposed to be an apology for the first Battlefront game, and it pretty just made stuff even worse.
Yes.
And another disappointing thing, slash really annoying, because they seem to advertise the game as play the Imperials, yeah, for about 3 or 4 missions, and then you switch back to the Rebel side, which was the most annoying thing, because
so badly written.
they give us a single player, and it's just crap. It's another. It ties into the new films when it skips forward when you'd kind of hope it would be pretty much where the Mandalorian's going to be set, where it's it's going to be like after Return of the Jedi, because you see the Death Star getting explode, and then stuff's kind of going. Oh, here, just going kind of the Empire's kind of going down, as it were. And then you cannot, the mission where it happens, you cannot tell me that a Special Forces Inferno Squad, bad of the bad, best of the best, has not seen some form of oppression from the Empire and think, we're doing it for the Empire's cause, and just, no, apparently that's a no, and then they've got to rebel. Piss off. It was just so, late. I just thought it lazy. I was going to say it is lazy. I was hoping for a full campaign, full evil campaign. Your Imperials, yeah. I mean, but Hask is the only loyal member of Inferno Squad, and I liked how he kind of gets involved with the First Order. That's what I was hoping was going to happen. These are people were kind of going to be the bridge to, right, this is how we jumpstart the First Order. But no, you get 2. You get Iden Versio and I forget the other chappie's name. Who run off the rebellion and then just cracking jokes. It's so bad.
It's very bad. Yeah, I have got a whole video on my perspective of that called Star Wars Battlefront 2 Single Player is a Lie. And, well, because it is. I was super hyped about the fact that, we're actually going to get a story told from an Imperial perspective. And it was going to be, we knew that at least one of the missions were going to be set around the destruction of the second Death Star. To see that from an Imperial perspective, to see, all my friends are dead, kind of thing, how would they react? And literally, it's so badly written. It also falls into the pitfalls of the films of, they say things about stuff they've done in the past, which sound a hell of a lot more interesting than what they're doing now. And literally, I think it is the 3rd mission in the game, you defect to the rebellion.
Yeah.
Imperial Special Forces, who has just witnessed the destruction of the second Death Star with their own eyes, defects to the rebellion. And I must say, the plot is kind of terrible, with the Empire firing on their own loyal planets. But apparently that's the Emperor's plan. This story is canon, by the way. It's terrible. Absolutely terrible. And yeah, we got the end that it sort of links more into the First Order in some very strange dream sequence, and then DLC, which was free, because the story actually cuts off at one point, and it's like the story will finish in an extra 4 months. So you got to wait 4 months for the free DLC, then that came out, and then that was written really horribly, because at the end we've got a badly forced romance, worse than the Attack of the Clones romance. I mean, it was terrible. It was god-awful. I have played it through with a small hope it might get better. No.
I didn't even bother. I got the starting bit of the DLC and I was like, you know what, no, I'm not enjoying this. This isn't the campaign that I want.
It's not fun.
I was forcing myself to play a Star Wars game.
How? How would you muck that up so badly?
Just...
It makes me sad, because that means we might not get a bad guy single player.
No, I don't think we will.
No.
No, I don't think... I think that's it.
Why?
I think just... Unless someone else comes along and does that justice. Well, again, EA's got to lose his friggin' Star Wars license.
Either lose the license altogether or lose exclusivity, so other publishers get the license. Because, oh my god, can you imagine Insomniac getting their hands on this? Insomniac, who made Spider-Man PS4.
Oh, yeah.
And I must say Dan Slott, who is one of the head writers of Spider-Man PS4 and one of the current comic runs of Spider-Man, is a massive Star Wars and Doctor Who fan, so that guy knows sci-fi.
Yeah.
Let him write it for you.
That is just another kind of studio-wise. BioWare obviously made KOTOR.
Yes, BioWare is one of EA's developers. Prisoners. Oh yeah. Okay.
And apparently they've been told multiple times, no, you're not allowed to make Night Show Republic 3.
We don't know exactly under what circumstances, but it's been rumoured that BioWare have pitched KOTOR 3 to EA, and EA have gone,
no.
So,
yeah, just disappointing on the story mode, disappointing in the multiplayer. Multiplayer isn't fun. Again,
it looks beautiful.
Looks beautiful.
The new Geonosis stuff they've added looks amazing.
Yeah, but it's just
like it's all paid to win.
It's just too.
It's terrible.
It's just too little, too late. The game had its chance. The game's
been out like 2 years.
Yeah,
it's way too late. They've only just introduced the Geonosis stuff like end of last year.
Yeah. Because when they had to rework everything, because everything
when the loot boxes got taken out.
Yeah, when the loot boxes got taken out, because that's funny. If you have to rework everything, then something along those lines was forcing you to pay for stuff. So, and just thinking, getting past the points of, well, I just won't go and I'm not affected by these loot boxes. I'm not going to purchase them, but you start a game and people have instantly better stuff than you, because if you try and grind and just play the game normally, you struggle.
I tried playing it again. I didn't play it that much, and I tried playing it with the guy I was dating at the time, and he plays a hell of a lot more than me, and he was doing really well, and I was struggling because I had like no star cards and nothing, because everybody else had been playing it for longer and had bought or unlocked more things that. It just didn't work. I mean, the multiplayer in the original Star Wars Battlefront 2, in each game, like if you do really well in the game, you get rewards in that match. And then when that match ends, everybody resets. So everyone starts at the same level in terms of like rewards. Like you get like an elite rifle, damage bonus, defense bonus, things like that. So obviously, experience of how long you play the game, personal experience, that's not something you can obviously put in a game. That's just if you play it. But actual in-game rewards resets at the beginning of every match. So everyone's on an even playing field here. You can be down there and be playing with people up there. And honestly, when those maps are so big, it is a pain when you spend 5 minutes getting to where the action is, get shot, respawn at the back, spend another 5 minutes trying to get back into the map, and it's just a constant cycle. Yeah. I just quit. I haven't played it since then.
I stopped playing it until the rare occasions where you could actually obviously beat what you want. I was happy to be a Death Trooper because they're one of the special classes. But if you want to be a hero, you're screwed, because people are already getting more points to you because of certain star cards and better equipment, and just it's all just you spend money, you get better stuff, and that's just not right, really.
It makes it frustrating.
Yeah.
Games are here for enjoyment.
Yeah.
Not to be internally frustrating.
And as I keep saying, this was supposed to be an apology for Star Wars Battlefront 1, and they just screwed it up even more. So, the Battlefront 2 that came out in 2005?
2005.
2005? Battlefront 2 is still better than this Battlefront 2.
And also costs like £5 on Steam.
Yeah, and it's still amazing, and people still play it because people got so pissed off they've gone back and started playing it.
Now, it still had a healthy population before EA ever released their Battlefronts.
Yeah.
Even when the GameSpy servers shut down, which meant no one could play online, fans created their own server running systems so you could still play it online, and that game is still so popular that Steam itself brought back the Star Wars Battlefront 2 servers. Yeah. That's how good that game is still doing. It's well over 10 years old now.
I just don't understand how, because basically all EA needed to do, I don't know how EA you up a Star Wars game. There's so much potential.
There's a few bad ones out there, but most of them are playable, that's for sure.
Yeah, and just all you needed to do was literally, for an apology, was take Battlefront 2 and give it new graphics.
That's all you needed.
That's it.
That's literally all you needed.
Leave all the bullshit out with the microtransactions.
I would have been happy without a single player, because I would have liked to just do that on split screen.
It's like 32
I would have been happier.
Or but yeah.
God, ridiculous.
So, yeah, overall thoughts. Yeah, I still wish LucasArts was in charge, because they release far better games. I was saying today, Xbox One owners, the Star Wars Jedi Academy game is out for a free download. Go and play that game, because that still is one of the best games for lightsaber combat I have ever played. Boss hasn't played it, and I've been saying to Boss, get it, because it is, I cannot emphasize it enough, it is the best Star Wars game if you want to feel like you're a Jedi and use lightsaber with your own personal kind of tiny little character customization you can do. But you can use dark side powers, light side powers. Halfway through the game, you can choose what lightsaber you have, color, hilt. You can go all Darth Maul with the staff saber, or two in each hand, or one. It is just so much fun, and it's got saber locks and just kill animations and stuff. It's just so much fun. I have to head over to Good Old Games and see what they've got it on their system for. So, and that's free for Xbox One owners, and I'm pretty sure it's on Steam, and it's an old game, so it'll run. As it's an old game, get that one on Good Old Games. Star Wars Battlefront 2 runs alright on Steam, but other ones get it on GOG, because they fix their games to run on modern systems. Steam doesn't. Yeah. I've had that problem with a couple of their games. So go and check that out, because it's free. But yeah, that just makes me sad, because I don't know if I'm ever going to get a game like that from EA or from a studio in quite a while, until EA gets rid of that license. The only glimmer of hope I have, even though EA have also cancelled 2 other Star Wars games, one being the one that Visceral was working on. Not just cancelled those Star Wars games. Remember I was saying about their shut down companies? They've now shut down Visceral. So they cancelled the game that Visceral was working on, took the assets on what Visceral had finished at the time to try and rework it into a different game with another developer, cancelled that game, and now they're making a different one because that game was going to take too long to do, and they wanted something that they could do quickly and easily. Does that ring any, alarm bells to you? We want a game that's just quick and easy to do, so we shut down Visceral and their single-player scoundrel video game. And now what apparently are they making? Supposedly the only glimmer of hope that I have, but again, it's just because I haven't got a really good track record. They've given it over to Respawn Entertainment, who make the Titanfall games, and supposedly the only game that seems to be in development, which comes out autumn this year, is called Jedi Fallen Order. It sounds like a single player game from the small details we have, where you play a Jedi Padawan just after Order 66 has been executed. But I'm just worried for that game, because it's EA, and EA seems to be fucking up everything. So, but it's hopefully Respawn do the best they can, and it's a good single player game with no microtransactions. But unfortunately, games nowadays seem to be doing that because of reasons. So I just don't know. I like that story premise. I think that because again we might actually see some lightsabers. So some lightsaber combat, because the lightsaber combat in Battlefront 1 and 2, recent ones, is shite. So hopefully we get some good ones this new one. But again, I'm just nervous. With everything Star Wars now, I'm just, except for a spin-off TV series, I am just nervous with everything Star Wars. And yeah, this video game is nervous. Very. Because you can't trust EA. Or Disney at this point. As I said at the start of the video, I realise now maybe George selling the Star Wars franchise to Disney was a bad mistake. The worst mistake he could have done. So, broken heart. And I'm pretty sure that's kind of it. I think that's it. I mean, can I give my voice a rest now? Yes. Fantastic. So I think we both agree that Spider-Man, in all aspects of entertainment, is doing far much better than Star Wars, which is crazy. Star Wars was my first love. Yeah. But this just goes to show that you can criticise something you love. Yep. You don't have to be rose-tinted glasses over everything, because if you don't criticise it, it will never get better. Yeah.
And also, you can disagree on things and still be friends.
Indeed. This should translate to the internet, but it's never going to happen.
It won't. This probably won't get enough views because this is going to be like 4 hours long.
Ah well. Yeah, well, you'll get some good ones, I'm sure. Good, we got some good eggs on here.
We got some good eggs.
Yeah.
So welcome to this brand new podcast. We just decided we're doing now because this has taken a long time.
Indeed, it was good. Though.
I do have a name for a podcast I've kind of wanted to use for a while, so I might just use that here.
Good. That's going to be good. So yeah, that's it. Spidey good, Spider-Man good, and Star Wars. What are they doing? I don't want it to be bad. I want it to be good as Spider-Man. What's going on? But Mandalorian. That's Mandalorian. So we do still love it, but just nervous, except for the Mandalorian. So
thank you guys very much for watching. I apologise for my voice. We just scheduled to do this video this week, and unfortunately this has just happened. So I apologise. We may be doing some more videos like this in the future if any topics come up we'd like to discuss. Well, this has been something we've planned for a little while because
it's been a few months.
Yeah, there's just a few pieces of media that have come out recently that have just made us realise, this whole topic that we've been talking about. So, kind of wanted to get it off our chest and want to know what all you guys think. So please put your comments down below. And as I said, thank you for watching. There's some more videos on this channel kind of about sort of thoughts and feelings I know on sort of the Star Wars Battlefront. I've done a few reviews of the films in the past. If you want to go follow what this guy does, you can follow him on Instagram at DT Outlander. Said he's one of my fellow troopers in the Imperial Outlanders. And as usual, I've got to say thank you to my supporters on Patreon. And thank you to Jeff Kenny and Mortarian as well. If you can understand your names through this voice. Sorry. And we'll see you in the next video. And just jump in, support this person on Patreon. There's a lovely person on Patreon. There's a link right here because she deserves all dem supporters and Patrons and all that stuff that give because YouTube's I've said it before because I'm in a previous video. YouTube system is absolutely screwed. Unfortunately, it is the worst and yet the best we can get. But I'm still going to be here. Still love making these videos. No matter what happens, I'll still be here. So, again, thank you guys for watching. Thank you for your support. Patreon. And we'll see you in the next video. As always, may the Force be with you.